Hello everybody, and welcome to iLaser Beams EX. This is FlashMan.
And this is BreakMan.
Man, it has been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah,
Gosh.
It has been. Things come up, we get busy. Sorry guys, that whole, real life thing.
And I feel bad starting every column off with, feeling like I'm coming back to my fan base after, never stopping by, never, poking my head in the door and saying, hey, tavern dwellers, how's life? I mean, but, really, honestly, it's just been kind of a whirlwind last several months for Break and I.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's like, Break moved out, bought his own house,
Yep.
He's making wedding plans. I mean, we've got a lot on our plates, and it's like I'm remodeling my ranch. I mean, a whole lot of stuff is going on, and so we feel bad that we're not here for you guys. But please understand, it's certainly not by our choice. It's just sometimes real life gets in the way, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, I wouldn't say it's 100% our choice, but some stuff happens where it's just like, well, we kind of tried, but for whatever reason it just didn't work out. Something came up, etc., etc. But then again, that's just how life goes. Not everything is expected. No one has a strategy guide for life.
Exactly, and if they did, I can assure you it wouldn't cost $9.99. How to avoid all of these things that will come up and still come out looking like a hero. First try. Okay.
Pro tip: to defeat the terrorists, shoot at them until they die.
Exactly. Now, there you go. That's a strategy guide I think America could use. But before we veer off into politics, please, you'll notice that this column is just FlashMan and the Break guy.
Yeah.
And I would like to sing that bit, but I don't think Break wants to hear it right now. So...
featuring FlashMan and the Break guy.
Carta, as you've noticed, is not joining us because he's having technical difficulties, and Sten was actually going to join us, as I mentioned, back in the, I believe, Derp of the Unknown post on the blog. He was unable to make it. He's unable to make it as well due to technical difficulties on his end, so... Basically, between kind of everything that's been going on, it's just Break and I today. And honestly, it's kind of nostalgic going back to the good old days of iLaser Beams. And so we're gonna still put on a great show for you tonight, guys, and kind of cover some recent stuff that's been going on with the Mega Man world. And
we haven't been here to cover it as it has gone live, so to speak. So. We're just going to kind of get caught up on current events and just give you our input on what's been going on in the world of Mega Man.
And I know we've mentioned a lot that iLaser Beams is more than just Mega Man. As some of our columns have indicated, we have other interests. It's not our overlying theme. But I do feel like Mega Man is kind of it's sort of like a core hub that we can come back to, that we can talk about, that we know that it's a very, it's a common link for us, and it's just something we can sit back and go, hey, alright, it's Mega Man, we know it, it's familiar, it's friendly territory, it's got a lot of the good, a lot of the bad, and we can throw bricks at it and then turn around and hug it, because, in the end, it is all of what it is, and, for better or for worse, we can throw whatever we don't like into discontinuity, like fans seem to love doing. And I believe in the words of BreakMan, you can do what you want, but if I don't like it, it's not going in the show.
No, Mega Man is definitely the best middle ground for our show here, so it works out.
It really does, and I feel like that's kind of where we're at in our stage of fandom. I feel like we like it, and we agree that there are other things we like more. There are other things we're closer to, but it's still something we can always come back to.
Yeah.
Basically, let's go ahead and talk about some recent events. I think that's the topic for tonight, really.
Recent, of course, meaning, even as far back as probably end of last year, I think.
Yeah, because we've kind of been out of it, so we're sort of just coming back off of our hiatus and kind of covering all of the bases that we really would like to we'd like to cover. So you're gonna have to forgive us if we're obviously latecomers to a lot of this on the party, and rest assured, we read Proto Dude's blog on a pretty much daily basis. I am fully guilty of refreshing it 10 and 15 times a day.
Yeah, that's fair.
I refresh my own site 10 and 15 times a day, knowing there's no new material on it. Seriously though, current events, and I think to that end, let's go ahead and get the big one out of the way.
Okay.
Break. I'll let you take point on this one.
So, it's LeBron time then.
It is.
Folks, hope you all had a chance to at least check out Eddie LeBron's Mega Man movie. It was an interesting time.
Indeed.
What is there to say about this? Like, I think that this is, personally, I believe that this is one of those fan-made things that is very, very much middle-road material. It wasn't terrible, but it was just kind of there, Like, it didn't suck, but it wasn't great.
It was basically one of those things that we watched and we went, okay, for a fan-made, unofficial production, it was great quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cinematography was really good. The actors actually felt like they knew what they were doing.
Well, most of them, at least.
I was actually... Break and I kind of have a split opinion. Break favored Wiley's performance a little more for being more believable and true to the original version. I actually kind of favored Dr. Light's performance in the movie because I felt like it was more kind of what I expect Dr. Light to be like, rather than the Dr. Light that Capcom seems to be intent on giving us, a strange meteor has fallen to Earth just a while ago. And so I'm kind of glad
As
to see...
opposed to, now why would anyone bar the outside of the bathroom door?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Rock and roll! I'm so glad that Dr. Light was actually portrayed in a competent,
I'm sure it's the guidance system. God knows I didn't do anything wrong, you worthless hack.
Yes, exactly.
Of course, Dr. Light, you're right as always, asshole.
Gee, I wonder who Break favors in this side of the debate.
Well, Dr. Light's such a jerk. Oh no, the robot is going berserk. You must have done something wrong, because you're not very good at what you do. But I did everything exactly as you told me to. No, I'm pretty sure that you broke the robot. Good job, douchebag.
So apparently Dr. Light is a Shizu Ishtar, among other things.
At any rate, let's LeBron's Mega Man movie. Yeah, I definitely preferred. The physical characterization was pretty far off the mark, but apparently the guy had like some kind of hardcore like allergic reaction to the stage makeup or something. But no, I thought Wiley stole the show personally. But
yeah,
that's me.
I thought they were both great performances. I really did. And like I said, I favored Dr. Light because they portrayed him in a more sympathetic light than lol pun. Sorry guys, it was unintentional. It portrayed him more sympathetically and believably than I think Dr. Light has really received in most official media. So, as for the rest of the movie, wasn't too thrilled about the whole Robot Masters looking like they made a stop at REI for their costumes before deciding.
They kind of took a break from paintball.
Yeah, exactly. It's Mega Man snowboarding adventure. And I think we can both agree that Mega Man's performance was pretty terrible.
Yeah, I don't really think that guy either he was told to act a certain way and didn't, have a whole lot of knowledge of the source material. And I wonder how much of that is true for most of the actors, just not being exposed to the source material. I mean, the guy who did Wily probably really did his homework, whereas the guy who did Light kind of said that he went out of his way to not
avoid the source material.
To give his own interpretation, which ended up being fine. Like, I thought he did a great job.
Overall, I mean, looking at the movie, it wasn't like we've said, it wasn't bad.
No,
but it was definitely a fan done production, and it definitely it didn't hold the appeal that a cinematic release of Mega Man would for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Like the whole Robot Master montage was, I will fully admit, I was not impressed with that.
No,
basically.
Oh god, the action was the weakest part of the movie. Granted, they don't have the money to hire like professional choreographers or do fancy CG stuff to an extent further than what they ended up doing. But
it felt like LARPing. I mean, it really did.
Yeah, it was just like, I throw my cut boomerang at you, it rolls in the air. Uh-oh, it's coming at me, I'm going to step 3D. Alright, that's cheating, this 2D game.
So apparently...
No, seriously, he dodges to the side. It's like, I'm sorry, but
So apparently CG Cutman is darts now.
Well, yeah. It works.
What is the matter with you, AH? You throwing my cut boomerang back at me? Cut out the jibber jabber, Mega Man. But that was just, oh my gosh, that was...
Really, I don't want to sound like a pretentious, douche or anything, but, I need to be involved with more of these kind of fan-made things. Because I could have come up with some choreography and just okay, guys, let's move the it'll only be for one shot, but come on, if we just move the camera over here, it'll look so much better.
I honestly feel that way, and I feel at the same time this is one of those instances where somebody says, hey, let's see you do better.
Okay.
And I say, okay, give me an opportunity to, and I'll try.
Yeah, let me get together all the necessary resources, and sure.
Exactly, and I felt like I would love to do a Mega Man movie. I mean, I really think that it's kind of the big problem I have with any cinematic adaptation of anything is it always almost inevitably seems like the people that are actually doing it are not the slightest bit familiar with the source material beyond being familiar with it in passing. I think Michael Bay is an excellent example.
And then on the opposite side of the spectrum, if they are familiar with it, they're not good at what they do.
Yeah, it's rare that you'll find somebody who's good at what they do and is familiar with the source material to the point where
have you seen Hero of Time?
No, I haven't.
Well, do yourself a favor and never ever watch that. Around the same time that this project started getting, head of steam behind it, the Mega Man movie, I became aware of, through comments on actually Protodude's blog, the existence of The Hero of Time, which was a fan-made movie loosely based on the legendary Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda game.
Oh dear. Why does this sound like it'll turn out exactly how it sounds like it'll turn out?
Because it does.
Wow.
Seriously,
okay.
I found it, Nintendo shut that movie down when it was finished, and I can't say I blame them, because I went out of my way to find it. It was terrible. The problem is that the actors and the creators of the movie were, not even really the actors, but just the creators were way too stuck on the aesthetics of making stuff look Zelda-ish instead of making a good Zelda movie.
Yeah, this is actually something I noticed with going back to what I was saying earlier, Michael Bay, especially with the Transformers movies. I feel like, no disrespect to Bay. I thought the first movie was okay. I thought the second movie was absolutely terrible, though. And
I'll agree. I agree 100%. I had a good time watching that first one.
Yeah, the first one was actually, I went to the theater. I saw it twice. I thought it was good enough to go see. And I'm the kind of person that, if a movie comes out and I think it looks really good, I'll usually wait for it to come out on DVD. So to get me to go to a theater to see a movie,
especially twice.
Yeah, especially twice, means I really enjoyed the movie. I walked out after about 20 minutes into Revenge of the Fallen. I thought it was that terrible of a movie, and apparently, from what I'm told, I haven't missed much.
No, I sat through the entire 2.5 hours and wish I could get that 2.5 hours of my life back.
Being
Complete
a Transformers
total
fan,
waste of time.
and I'm a Transformers fan. And I wanna put down for the record, I'm not a G1er. I'm not one of those people that jumps up and down and screams that tan is neon. I like the Transformers toys. I like the franchise. I like.
No, yeah, you are a fan, I think, of Transformers in just about every incarnation, aren't you?
More or less. There are a few that I'm not a big fan of, like the Unicron trilogy, because pretty much everybody agrees that those were the series that came out a few years back. It was the kind of like the Transformers version almost of Sonic X, and it was pretty terrible. I'm not a fan of Beast Machines because it felt.
Wait, is that different from Beast Wars?
Yes, Beast Wars was the original. Beast Machines is the sequel. If you liked Beast Wars, there's a fairly good chance you won't like Beast Machines. If you didn't like Beast Wars, you'll absolutely despise Beast Machines. It was basically
so it's a lose-lose scenario.
Yeah, it's really, I don't know really anybody who is a huge fan of Beast Machines. I'm not a really big fan of the G1 animated series just because I feel like it's overly goofy, but I like the character designs.
Yeah, it has that feel of those times, unfortunately.
Exactly. It felt like a cartoon of the 80s. I like the character designs. I like the way the Transformers transform into something that I can immediately recognize, like a tape deck or a truck or a car, and I go, okay, this is this is a concept I'm familiar with. But I think the thing with Michael Bay is, he really didn't seem to be that familiar with the source material to begin with, and it almost looked more like it was dropped in his lap. Hey, make this Transformers movie. This is what these are what the characters are like. Blah blah blah, and of course, you can't blame everything on him. I mean, he's just the director. There's, still the writers and everybody else that you have to deal with. But overall, it felt good for a cinematic release. But the Transformers fan in me cringed at certain parts and went, "This really wasn't."
Did we really need so many jokes about so many parts of it were just so lowbrow, like.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead
he
style
peed
stuff.
on something. Sorry, lubricated. Urgh.
And I honestly think that's one of the most shameless wastes of John Turturro in a movie too, because he's a good actor, and
yeah.
I didn't like the character he played. I didn't like his performance. I just didn't like.
You know what I did enjoy though? I did enjoy. Well, you eyeing my piece, 50 Cent? Huh? Are you on drugs?
That was an excellent scene, yeah.
Yeah.
And there were some parts of the movie that was just it was a good movie, and I'm not going to say that it wasn't. And going back to Eddie LeBron's Mega Man, I would even say for a fan made unofficial production, it turned out really well. But I feel like it's one of those things that really kind of shouldn't have been adapted on a low budget by an unofficial group, because what bothers me is something as inherently action-driven as Mega Man.
Yeah, it didn't really get that nod that it deserved.
Basically Dr. Light's lab being what looks like, somebody's spare bedroom in their house,
Yeah, with, old 1970s computer pieces strewn over the desks.
Yeah, because it's high-tech, and I like
it's done by IBM.
Exactly, yes, and the stage select screen for the Robot Masters, because we needed to get in that touch. In case you didn't notice, it was from a video game,
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, okay. Overall, it wasn't terrible. I'm not gonna jump up and down and say it's terrible and rip my hair out and scream about it. But
I don't know. Genki Barbie Roll was pretty annoying though.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Roll. I love Roll. She is my all-time favorite Mega Man character, but that performance was
grating.
Yeah, really bad actually.
But But I did kind of like her, like the fact that she would be like so super excited about like Contra, and then Mega Man just to say, "Wow, this game sucks."
Yeah, that was pretty lol that they had to throw in the NES references too. Like overall, I mean, it was an entertaining watch. I'd watch it again. No, we're not talking about anywhere near as like legendarily bad as something like, say Tommy Wiseau's The Room, which was, if I recall, shot on a budget of $6 million and looks like it was shot on a budget of 250 and a couple cases of beer. I mean,
yeah, that is a movie that I need to see for the sheer WTF factor.
I did not hit her. It's not true. I did not hit her. It's bullshit. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. It's like, oh my gosh, the acting in that movie. And the Mega Man movie by Eddie LeBron, actually, comparatively, speaking, the acting was great. I mean, the characters felt like they were getting into their roles and felt like they at least knew how to act.
Even the Robot Masters, I was like, there were a couple that I didn't really care for, but I thought the Robot Masters, even if they were just voice acted, were fine, absolutely fine for the roles.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it was, because I wouldn't think in a live-action movie, as big of a fan as I am of the Robot Masters, I really wouldn't think they'd get anything better than bit roles. I mean, when you look at, especially when you look at movies like, Spider-Man, especially like the Spider-Man, 3, where it's basically, okay, hey, let's just add as many villains as we can budget into this movie and see how long it goes.
Spider-Man
before it blows
3,
up.
starring the Sandman, with Venom and New Goblin 2.
With special guest appearance by Venom. Yeah, that wasn't really my whole no. Spider-Man fan here took that just a little too personally. Like I've never been a big Venom fan, but I was.
But you still acknowledge that is an important enough aspect of the Spider-Man mythos that it deserves more than like basically what boils down to a quarter of the movie, probably less than a quarter of the movie.
I think Boxer Hockey put it best when basically Shadow was dropped in as original the character Do Not Steal. That's pretty much where I felt like they were going with Venom in that movie. It's like, quick, it's Venom. Pff, you die now. Okay. What? Just what?
I am Fight Robot, formerly Tool Robot. I am here for justice and friendship.
I am a themed robot in Themed Stage Man Robot. I want to fight you.
I don't want to fight you,
But I want to fight you.
okay, let's fight.
You got weapon. And
if you charge it, it does even awesomer things.
Exactly, yeah. So, overall, I would say Eddie LeBron's Mega Man movie is well worth checking out. And it's a great tide over until Capcom pulls their head out of their collective butts and actually gives us the real thing.
Yeah, because honestly, if you're looking for something long-sustaining and like 100% worth it in every aspect, like if you're looking for a Mega Man full-fledged movie, you're probably going to be disappointed, but if you take it for what it is, it's a good time.
Absolutely, yeah. It's, you sit down and you don't feel like you've wasted your time watching it, as long as you go into it knowing what it is, And so, overall, it was great. I felt like it was just a little bit pretentious at times, but I'm not a movie critic. I'm not going to pretend to be a movie critic. I don't watch enough movies to even really call myself a movie fan, but, this was one of those things that I watched, I was entertained, I would recommend it to my friends, but, it wasn't the be-all, end-all, like, oh, well, now that we've done this, we'll never need to see, real, official Mega Man, cinematic release, so...
Yeah, basically just take it for what it is, don't take it for anything more or less than that, and you'll come away with a decent experience.
Yeah, good times. So, moving on to the next item in our, next on our list. Oh, it's only number 2. We're safe. If it was number 5, we'd have to end the column right here.
Wait a minute. well, considering the material, number 5 actually may turn out to be number 5. Oh, this will be interesting, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, exactly. It's number 5 on our list, guys, and that's all you need to know.
Don't worry, guys. It does go up to 6, so...
Yeah. Number 2.
Well, actually, that might not necessarily be a good thing either. I'm looking at the list, and damn.
Oh, man. Number 2 on our list. Actually, we kind of wanted to touch on this because, like I've said, we've been so out of it that we're basically digging through the archives going, hey, have we done a piece on this yet? No. All right, throw it in the queue.
Yeah.
Mega Man Megamix was somewhat recently licensed and brought over here.
Yeah, was that earlier this year or late last year?
I would like to believe that it was earlier this year.
Okay.
And right around the same time, I think Complete Works was coming out too. Maybe like a little bit.
Yeah.
That.
I managed to snag the classic Complete Works, but I still can't find the friggin' X one.
I'm just gonna have to. Yeah, I haven't even been able to get any of those yet. I think I'm just gonna end up buying them online because I've been.
That seems to be the most fail-safe method, honestly.
I've been to every Barnes and Noble in, like, no joke, like a 35-mile radius, and I haven't been able to find them anywhere. Come to think of it, I haven't been able to find the newest book out in the Haruhi series either, but that's neither here nor there. It seems like video game and anime books are becoming increasingly scarcer to find on the shelves now in favor of...
I don't know, it really kind of depends, because, like, I went to...
runners like Naruto or something.
Well, I went to Barnes & Noble's today, and a series that I still need to get finish getting caught up on, Negima. Like, I was under the impression that, like, no one gave two craps about that series anymore, but it's like, no, awesome, they have everything that I need to fill every single hole in my set. Of course, I ended up buying the complete set of Scott Pilgrim instead, but...
which may have been a better purchase if my Negima experiences tell me anything.
Oh, well, you haven't read Negima, so you don't really know for sure.
No, I've seen the anime, though, so...
The anime sucks, don't watch that.
Well, thanks! It's a little late now, isn't it?
Okay, getting off of that.
Yeah, this is gonna quickly turn into a shonen versus seinen versus shoujo three-way battle between me and Break and his fiancée. And bricks will be thrown. But, anyway, no, seriously, Mega Man Megamix came out over here, and that just falls off the tongue, like, yeah. I actually read it, I like it, I feel like it was one of those rare instances where you buy manga, or if you're one of those people that prefers to call it a graphic novel, and let's not, call a spade here. Yeah, I honestly, genuinely felt like it was worth the purchase, and I walked away from it not feeling like I was like whenever I pick up a copy of Fullmetal Alchemist or One Piece or something, I didn't feel like I was buying this just to pay $10 or $11 or whatever the going rate is now for the next installation of the series, but actually
it doesn't feel like you're paying additional money just basically as the next leg of your subscription to this story service or whatever,
Exactly, yeah. It's like, okay, shell out another $11 to see what happens next. I didn't feel like that. I actually, the art in the book and just the whole general thing. I mean, I've read the original Megamix, and I felt like this was a really, really good, faithful translation. Managed to basically cover all of the bases of the original version, and kind of, there are some spots where there's the occasional Woolseyism here or there, but overall, I mean, it was a good read.
When you give someone like, and I'm not trying to like talk crap or anything, but when you give someone like Ariga, the basically you give him the okay to do what he's doing, and you give him artistic license over certain things, then you kind of have to expect stuff like that to happen.
Oh,
But it turned out like. It's not the original Mega Man story. Let's be clear here. It's not that. but I believe it offers basically an alternate universe interpretation of the same events, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it basically was like if you ignore all of the previously established canon backstory, also keep in mind how long ago Megamix was done.
Yeah,
I mean,
the original. God, that was like what, early '90s maybe?
Like I want to say like mid to late 90s. I can't remember. I mean the Rockman mythos had been, fairly cemented by that point in time, but it wasn't.
But even then, it was still mostly basically the classic series, which is like, oh, Dr. Wily's at it again. You know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. In before Trick rolled.
Yeah.
But it's. I really liked it. I liked his interpretation, like you said. Basically, it's ignore what's been previously established and go with the characters and basically retell the story from a more like modern day kind of perspective.
Yeah, basically think of it as Rockman, another story.
Yeah, it did a good job of making Rockman not feel like trying to like it was trying to be the Astro Boy Jetsons kind of space age motif. It actually felt pretty modern day. Apart from the fact that there were robots everywhere, it still looked more or less like it could be 2010 Japan, and I was cool with that. I walked away from it feeling like hey, this is believable. We could look out our windows and see this very thing actually like taking place. And
I do enjoy contemporary science fiction.
I agree.
As oxymoronical as that seems,
Yeah, I think that suspension of disbelief only goes so far, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. It's kind of funny when you look at something like Cowboy Bebop, which I think was ahead of its time when it knew that Betamax and VHS were going to be highly obsolete very, very soon, and
yeah.
Basically portrayed them as being antiquated relics.
Do these things even exist anymore?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, that was in regards to Faye, right?
Yeah, because
God,
Faye
it's been a while.
Yeah, Faye mailed herself a videotape from the past because she was cryogenically frozen and all that.
Yeah.
And so it's basically like I like seeing that sort of thing in a work when they actually try to make science fiction look as though it's happening right now, and it's not. They're not like Frank Millerizing it or something where it's crap sack world. Every woman in the story's a hooker. It only comes in...
just to tangent for a second. That's actually what I really like about the Star Wars mythos is that it definitely has a there is a spacey feel to certain things, but at the same time it's very much like, no, yeah, I could totally see like that specific kind of machinery inside an eatery or a restaurant or a bar. Like, yeah, they would probably have something like that just mixes the drinks on the fly, etc. And yeah, okay, there would be robots. I mean, it's the future. You got to have robots, but it's also like gritty, and it's not to the same level as like Star Trek, where it's just like, oh no, future. Star Wars is more like, well, future, but grit.
Yeah, and at the same time, the grit isn't, only comes in two colors, brown and apocalypse. I mean...
but it's like very much in line with stuff that you would see in the world today. It's just like the upgraded versions of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels balanced. It feels like they actually knew and cared and said, okay, we realize that this is going to be dated in a while, so... we're not going to bother trying to predict what the future is going to be like. We're just going to add in the standard sci-fi element stuff and run with it from there. With regards to Megamix, I feel like it's futuristic enough that you feel like it's a good sci-fi story. It's not so futuristic that you feel like you can't relate to it. And it's not so modern that you're sitting here going, well, yeah, it's Mega Man, but it's not the Mega Man I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
I did
really like the characterization, though.
I do like Ariga's art style. I think he has kind of a tendency to pull an Archie and over-detail things a little bit. And
like in the case of Archie Sonic, you mean?
you know, just let's add in a bunch of bolts and rivets and panels that don't really need to be here, just in case you didn't notice they're robots. But his art style is kind of interesting. He makes them look like they're wearing jumpsuits. I mean, they have like, you know, visible like cloth details and wrinkles and like stitch work. It's kind of like a mixed.
It's kind of interesting that he kind of like characterizes it as if it's just like, okay, we, you know, the metal exterior is there, and we just kind of put clothes on over it.
Yeah, it almost feels more like every robot, like if you took their costumes off, every robot's built on more or less the same generalized frame with, you know, I always got the impression that, like in the case of Roll, with her, you know, like her large boots that she wears, like in Mega Man 8, and her, you know, that sort of thing, I always figured those were boots she could take off. Like, you know, they were just like to, you know, kind of help stabilize her walking and keep her upright, but, you know, she's got like normal humanish legs underneath. But with Ariga, the sense I get is, you know, if you basically strip them down to what they look like without their costume accessories and all that, the massive metal, you know, arms and the massive metal legs are standard, and, you know, it's sort of like, you know, we just kind of added in all the other details as we felt, you know, so they feel more robotic and simultaneously more human at the same time, and it's really kind of an interesting mix.
At the same time, you know, that kind of fits in hand with, you know, the canon. I mean, you know, you had you know, BreakMan, Proto Man being essentially the father of all, and you had Rock based on his design. Roll was pretty much Dr. Light's own, you know, project off of that, and then he and Wily pretty much took Rock's design and kind of standardized it in the creation of the the original 6, and just kind of did their own unique things with each one. So it makes a lot of sense that you know, all of the robot masters have a lot of the same physical traits, at least, you know, minus the bells and whistles.
And it's like, you know, there's the occasional nod here and there, like when they needed a robot to be able to do specialized work, like, you know, Gutsman feels like a garage kit almost, like, you know, underneath
Mr. Gutsman.
Yeah, underneath the metal exterior, they actually mentioned that Gutsman's extremely fragile despite his build, which is why he's weak to the hyper bomb, because it damages his internal components, because he's sort of jury rigged in a way. But, you know, they really did a good job making all of the Robot Masters feel, you know, original and well characterized, well developed. I really liked like extra favor being shown to Elecman, not in such a way that, you know, he's super special because this is my favorite Robot Master, so he's better than all the other ones, and he can, you know, do all of these extra special things that the other ones can't do. But
at the same time, it was like they gave him that nod, like, let's give him just a little bit more screen time because, you know, we're giving kudos here is basically what we're doing.
Exactly. Like, here you go, Inafune, you know, this one's for you. And it felt like a shout-out, and, I mean, even in canon, Elecman has been heralded as, you know, at the time of his production, he was considered the greatest of Dr. Light's creations, which goes hand in hand with the fact that he absolutely kicks your ass in Mega Man 1. So,
yeah, absolutely. It's like, 3 hits, done.
Yeah, you know, he was like a extremely well-made Robot Master, and, you know, and so there's that feeling of, you know, hey, these guys are well designed, you know, the characterization is good, the art style it's eye candy. I mean, it looks as close to the original as you can get without basically everybody being 2.5 feet tall and having stumpy details. They actually they capture the facial expressions and the look of what Inafune was going for, while at the same time polishing it up a little bit and making it look more modern. And overall, I mean, you know, it's a good collection of basically several short stories rather than like one ongoing serial work. But as a result, I really think Megamix it's a good buy, especially for the money. And if you haven't gotten around to it, I heartily recommend it. It's definitely one of those things that you'll walk away from, and you'll read it and be like, man, this was a good purchase for sure.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Good storytelling, great artwork, and I mean, let me make sure I have this right, but the Mega Mix, like, he did a set, like, basically he re-releases the series every so many years, doesn't he? That's basically how he does it.
It's been reprinted a couple of times, yeah.
But he, like, redoes the art when it happens, doesn't he?
I believe
That's what I've
believe
heard,
he
at
did
least.
touch up the art, yeah, in one of the recent re-releases. And
Which I think is just cool that, like, he still likes it enough to feel that is a thing that he would actually want to go out of his way to do, instead of, nope, here you go, it's here again. It's the art will kick your ass, the storytelling is great, and it offers a really nice aesthetic to this storyline that you already know and love.
I should also mention, too, that Ariga did a piece recently, and I will fully admit my information's both a little bit dated, and I haven't really studied up on this as much as I probably should, but he did a piece for Mega Man 9 as sort of a promotional work, and it's kind of like a kind of like a prequel piece to Mega Man 9. It was really, I actually thought it was really gripping, because Break and I have elaborated on this before, but I seriously think Mega Man 9 has the worst plot of any Mega Man game that's ever been made, and it's offensive. I walk away from it feeling like, this is almost like borderline, Brave Little Toaster-ish, which is not a direction. This is not a direction Mega Man ever should be going in. I mean, we don't need to drag what measure is a non-human into Mega Man. It's already bad enough in the X series, and that's at least somewhat acceptable, because X is intended to be gritty, but Classic is not. It's never, ever been designed to be that way, and basically making this, it almost feels like a soapbox that the creators are preaching from, trying to get like some greater message out in the form of a video game plot. And this is something that we're going to elaborate on later, but I really blame Inacreates for a lot of the directions that Mega Man has taken in recent history. But that having been said, Ariga did a comic about Mega Man 9, and I really liked the way he portrayed Mega Man 9's plot. The
man definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah, it was very emotionally moving, and you look at it and you go, oh man, this is dark. And it was dark, and it was dark in the good way, and that it's like, all right, now it's time to actually cover and address this issue, rather than dark and gritty in a people die when they're killed kind of way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shiro. But so anyway, yeah, Megamix, good buy for the money. If you can procure a copy of it, by all means, go obtain it and add it to your manga collection or your Mega Man collection or whatever you want to put it in. But it's definitely a must-have.
Yeah, I mean, if you consider yourself a fan of especially just of Classic or of just in Mega Man in general, seriously, do yourself a favor and pick this up, and pick up Mega Mix 2 when it eventually comes out, even though it's apparently delayed for whatever reason. But it's just legitimately good excuses to spend money on Mega Man again.
I know, we haven't had that in such a while, and it's nice having a tangible Mega Man item I can go to a store and buy. I mean... Yeah,
and not feel embarrassed.
And that, I think, segues beautifully into our next item on the list.
Here we go! Break.
And that segues beautifully into our next topic on the list. This did come out earlier this year, and we might as well go ahead and get it out of the way, because It is what it is. Mega Man 10. Yay.
Woo!
Alright, we weren't that moved over 9, and having...
No. If you look back at episode 6, you can see that. And that game hadn't even come out at that point.
And having played 9, basically my reaction to 9 was excellent soundtrack, great Robot Master designs. When I saw the list of names, I was horrified at how, what we were going to see. And I actually thought that the Mega Man 9 Robot Masters are probably some of the best designed Robot Masters in the series. But just to be brutally honest with you, the game still just can't redeem itself for the fact that it's an 8-bit game, and basically my reaction to Mega Man 9 was, after playing it, after seeing it, experiencing it, putting my money where my mouth was, and saying, alright, I came, I saw, I conquered, I ultimately walked away from it with kind of just this overwhelming feeling of, it felt like it was this avant-garde, sort of tribute to classic Mega Man, and, yeah, if you're a big fan of classic Mega Man, then you felt like you really got your money's worth, and yeah, it was only $10, so I'm not gonna complain about it, a $10 game, plus, paying for things that should have been in the $10 game to begin with, not that I'm bitter. But
yeah, there's an extra $1.50 for what basically boils down to a code.
Yeah, exactly. I walked away from it with a good feeling. It was it's not my favorite. It's certainly not. I think the plot is the worst plot of the series, but the gameplay was enjoyable enough to make it forgivable. Overall, it was a good, good honest throwback to the early days of video gaming and Mega Man in general. Mega Man 10 feels to me like, having played it, having beaten it, Mega Man 10 basically feels like an attempt to cash in on 9's, like 9's prestige, rather than being its own thing in its own right. And let me explain what I mean by that. Mega Man 9 came, directly, I say directly, like, 10 years after the fact? 10 or 11 years after Mega Man 8. And, a lot of time had passed, especially in the video game world, to the point where, Mega Man 8 is now considered a classic Mega Man game. It's like a retro game. Yeah. And hard to believe first-gen PSX is considered a retro platform. I remember going to the store and buying one and feeling like I had, the most cutting-edge video game system in the world. And anyway.
Yeah.
There's some nostalgia for you, man. I'll tell you what, 8-bit isn't always where it's at. But
I know, right?
Yeah, and so, Mega Man 9 comes on the heels of Mega Man 8, and you look at it and go, well, this doesn't feel like a direct sequel. I think I voiced this before, but I'll say it again, because it's in context. Mega Man 9 would have been a much better game if they had called it anything but Mega Man 9. I'm hearing a lot of people are having this consensus for Sonic 4 that their reaction to Sonic 4 would be a lot more open and optimistic if it wasn't called Sonic 4. But because you're basically...
I can see the argument, though, because, after Sonic 3 and Knuckles, we went to Sonic 3D Blast, and then immediately from that went to Adventure, Adventure 2, Adventure Heroes, Adventure Shadow, and Adventure Werewolf, so...
I wouldn't even dignify Shadow and Unleashed with the title of Adventure, because Adventure and Adventure 2 are legitimately good games.
Oh, burn.
But they're not even really worthy to succeed that mantle, but, it's neither here nor there.
But you see what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
it's
3D. Yeah, Sonic 3D Adventure Blast, Sonic 3D Adventure 2 Blast, Sonic 3D Unleashed Blast. Yeah, I got it. It's definitely, I'm with you there. And my feeling is, when you're following up what is widely considered to be the greatest Sonic video game of all time, and frequently mentioned in top 10 lists, alongside games like Super Metroid, I mean, and, Super Mario World, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is often revered to be one of the great, games of the early 90s, and just kind of like a symbol of quality in general and the crowning moment of the series. Being able to, following up on it with Sonic 4, yes, we realize this is the direct sequel to Sonic 3 and Knuckles, means Sega is taking a very, very, very big risk by, those are some extremely big power sneakers to fill, and
yeah.
And I think that basically Mega Man 9 comes along, it follows off of Mega Man 8, and it just kind of fell flat. It was like this, hey, sorta, yeah, we realized that the previous game had, these, like new era graphics and FMV cutscenes and CD audio soundtrack and,
being able to charge your weapon so it can do even more powerful things.
Being able to slide so you can get through tight spaces, hey, yeah, we're just gonna like, basically go back to what we were.
Hey,
like,
guess what, guys?
originally.
Yeah, he forgot. Okay, that's
Mega
it.
Man forgot how to slide. Yeah. He also forgot how to, charge his Buster too. Like that, okay, that I'm okay with because, let's say his Buster got damaged between 8 and 9. All right, whatever.
Yeah, if you've played any of the Metroid Prime games, it's like, oh, where did all the power-ups go? Oh, here we go. Samus got seriously screwed up and like beaten to hell. Okay, so her suit's damaged. All right, whatever.
Nah, yeah, it's like, I like the way Metroid Prime handled that. Like, you start with everything, and then it takes it away from you, and you're like, oh, okay.
The gravity suit lost. Freeze beam lost. Yeah, the super missiles lost. It's like, oh, God, oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the decline of video gaming put that one the best, when it's like, all right, I've got all these new power-ups, time to start a great new adventure, trip, fall. My power-ups! And that's how you feel with, it's like, what, does Lan throw his battleship collection away? But
well, yeah, we've been over that. That's exactly what he does.
Exactly. It's like, we can lampshade this, because, like, I can see, technology just, not being there, and maybe Mega Man's Buster just needed to be repaired or something, and he had to go back to his, let's break out the museum piece. He had to use the pea shooter from Mega Man 1 to get
just like how
done.
Forte wasn't in 9 because he was being downgraded somehow?
Apparently, yeah, exactly. Like, Dr. Wily had to remove the ability for Forte to double jump, so he couldn't be in Rockman 9, because that, we saw how well that worked out for him, during Rockman and Forte. It's like, I know if I gave him double jumping, he would turn against me. And, it's like, yeah, Dr. Wily, because I'm not going to play as Mega Man in Mega Man and Bass. I like being able to actually move around while playing a game with vertical scrolling issues. But that's neither here nor there.
GBA aside.
Yeah, exactly. Excuse me while I burn my copy. But with Mega Man 9, it wasn't a progression, it was a regression, and that was the novelty. Was, we're stepping back, and
yeah, it was like we understand why you guys did this, and it's fun, it's cute, so okay, sure, whatever.
But it's kind of, at the same time, it would be kind of like, and I, again, having not played Sonic 4 because it's not out yet, I'm hesitant. But it's kind of like, making a Sonic game where Sonic can't spin dash, he can't turn super, he doesn't get any shield benefits whatsoever. It's rolling right off of Sonic 3 Knuckles. Basically, if all Sonic can do is effectively run and do his rolling attack from Sonic 1, that would be
run, jump, and roll.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, this is how you put out fires, kids. But but anyway, so there's basically that, and it's kind of stupid, really, that Mega Man just conveniently forgot all of these abilities that he used to have at one point in time, and like the Robot Master weapons, I can see losing them because like, okay, you don't You don't carry over your Robot Master weapons. You never have. That's the whole point, is to beat the Robot Masters to get their weapons. That's cool.
Yeah.
But, you know, I always thought that, you know, besides, I mean, if you could carry over Robot Master weapons, then let's face it, we basically have, you know, 7 slots dedicated to the Metal Blade.
Yeah.
And begrudgingly one for the top spin, just in case. But,
one for every Wily weakness weapon.
Exactly, yes. Like, you know, okay, let's sit down here and basically figure out what I'm going to need to get the job done. And
As
Dr.
long as I
Light,
don't have to drop the Metal Blade, it's all good.
Dr. Light, can I take more copies of the Metal Blade with me? Why do you want to take more copies of the Metal Blade with you, Mega Man? Just a hunch. But, you know, seriously, like, you know, that's one of the things I really, not to get off topic, that's one of the things I love about Mega World is, for Wily Tower, you have your whole arsenal, you know, at your disposal from the first 3 Mega Man games, and you get to take your items
Don't
with
at one
you.
point they actually basically punish you for taking along the Metal Blade, like it doesn't work?
Yeah, I think actually there's like one boss or something that's immune to it because they knew you were going to take it, and they're like, I think you get a full draw of 8 weapons, I believe, and then 3 in any combination of the tools. You can take the magnet beam, you can take the item 1, 2, and 3, and you can take the various rush forms, and you have to kind of figure out which of them you'll need for what you're doing. But it basically, I mean, you know, you can, and they have like they have all of the various, you know, obstacles and things. So like, you know, if you take the super arm, there will be opportunities for you to use it to you know, to move the blocks. Although it's not, if you don't take it, they don't punish you horribly because there are alternate routes and that kind of thing.
Right.
But overall, you know, so I'm fine with that. But it seemed like a really stupid idea to take away the charge and the slide just so Mega Man plays more like he did in Mega Man 2. And that was kind of one of those things that I looked at and I went...
It's like, okay, I get why you guys did this.
And yet,
like
inexplicably...
I said, it's cute, but let's move on from here, okay?
Inexplicably, Rush is still in the game. So it's like...
I know.
Why didn't you take this away from me, too? This wasn't in Mega Man 1. And then you summon Rush, and all he can do is, like, extend his tongue out for a very brief second for you to have this, you know, makeshift disappearing platform to jump on and plummet to the bottom of the screen on after it fades.
Wait, really?
I'm being an ass.
Oh, okay.
I'm making fun of the magnet beam.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if we're gonna go back to Mega Man 1, I mean, let's be, you know, perfectly true to our roots here. But, you know, so, oh my gosh, you remember this, like, the speed at which you hurtle off of the Gutsman platforms if you miss a jump?
Yeah, like it attaches, like, upside-down rockets to your back when you step on them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if this platform collapses underneath you, I think you die before you even hit the bottom of the screen.
Like, it may as well just spawn spikes out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for all it does. And, you know, people give disappearing blocks a hard time, but that's a gimmick I never want to see return.
Yeah.
So, Mega Man 9 comes out. It's a regression. It doesn't feel like an upgrade at all. But we looked at it. We begrudgingly welcomed it because it was like, okay, this is a legacy tribute kind of thing. All right, we can groove on that. Then Mega Man 10 rears its ugly head. Like, right hot on the heels of Mega Man 9, it's like, you know, you guys liked that so much, we're giving you another one. Okay. You didn't really need to do this, Capcom, but, you know, and of course Inta Creates is making it. Of course Inta Creates is making it, because they're the only people you can get to do your dirty work these days. And, you know, here's the first Robot Master that's going to be in it, that's been unveiled. Break. Can I get the Robot Master riff? Sheepman! Really? Really? Oh, this can't possibly end badly.
I still go by Crown moment of awesomeness in a troll post that I made on Protodude's blog, saying that this Robot Master is an intentional joke at all the people who are legitimately excited for more of the same.
This is you. This is you on Mega Man. And
any questions?
Any questions? Yeah, honestly, that's
Yeah, is Bass going to be in? He's the most powerful guy I like so much. He not in last one. I'm not going to buy game ever if he not in.
Yes, exactly that. And thus Mega Man 10 comes out, and, you know, basically the big improvement over Mega Man 9 is it now has an easy mode and Fortes in it, okay?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mega Man 10.
Okay, I hope you don't mind if I spend most of this kind of sitting by the sidelines, because I am waiting for that game to basically go on the digital distribution equivalent of clearance before I buy it, because I'm not paying full price for that, and plus all its add-ons. I'm just not doing it.
Well, with regard to Mega Man 9, guys, you have to give Break some credit. He is a little bitter. He picked up Mega Man 9 begrudgingly, and somebody told him to start on Jewel Man, and I'm not sure who did, but
I know that it pissed me off.
Yeah, starting on Jewel Man is like the equivalent of starting on Iceman and Mega Man 1.
Oh, I have footage. You guys will see the footage, and it will be a very and a something, but it will be there. You will see it, and it is a something. Oh, no, move on right now. No, move on.
Some motor boarding out of woe touchy territory. Yeah, Break didn't have a good run with Mega Man 9, and so Break hasn't played Mega Man 10. So basically, this is going to be a solo FlashMan rant here. But
boom.
Let's see if I can just kind of gloss over Mega Man 10, and while still basically conveying my thoughts of it. First, the good. It does have an easy mode for people who are not the hardcore elite. You know.
For people who are not elite hardcores.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, if you're not Matt, okay, then no offense, Matt, but seriously, you're insane, and I love you, but you're insane. You know, if you're one of those people that can't play hard ass video games while eating, you know, hoagie in one hand, you know, then it has the easy mode for you. So, you know, it's not a mockery easy mode like with all of the spikes walled off and, you know, bosses that just like jump up and down in place and occasionally fling out an attack. I mean, it'll give you a challenge, and, you know, if you're new to like retro style, you know, platforming games, it'll still give you a run for your money. So you actually beat easy mode and do feel a sense of accomplishment. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there.
So it's
going,
not like
you
they
know,
just hand everything to you on a silver platter.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you
is
know.
it more like Mega Man 2 easy mode?
Yeah, it's a lot like the easy mode on Mega Man Anniversary Collection. You know.
Okay, yeah, that it's the same thing from Mega Man 2 easy mode then.
Yeah, like
It's basically they don't really change up the stages themselves, but
they just fudge the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, you know. So the Metal Man dies in one hit instead of two. And Crash Man, no, he still dies in one hit. But sorry, Crash Man. But you know, so basically with regards to Mega Man 10's easy mode, it doesn't insult you for playing it. You don't play it and feel like, you know, you're sitting here going, wow, this, you know, pretty much is doing everything but offering to change my diaper for me. I mean, it's, you know, it's you actually feel like you're playing still a legitimate, you know, platforming game. But it's easy enough that you can get through it. You can play through the game in one sitting. And the best part about the easy mode is whether you play it on the easy mode or the normal mode or the hard mode, you're going to get the same ending. And I like that because if you're like me and by now you're just playing these games strictly so that you can review them in your column later and so that when you complain about them, you don't have to immediately deal with the ad hominem attack of, well, play it before you run it down, smartass.
Yeah.
This is actually beneficial because basically I played through it on easy just to see what the easy mode was like, played it on normal, and I said, okay, I've had my fill of Mega Man 10 now. The next good thing is that Proto Man comes unlocked from the onset, so you do have...
Yeah, that was kind of a natural progression in the new old games, you know?
Yeah, I shouldn't have to pay for Proto Man and Base when I paid for Proto Man last game.
Yeah.
So, Mega Man and Proto Man come unlocked from the onset, and basically the key difference between them is that Mega Man is the same standard dumbass Mega Man 1, Mega Man 2 self. I forgot how to, slide.
I forgot how to every.
Yeah, exactly. Mega Man, I forgot.
Yeah.
Proto Man comes in the door, basically. That's what happened, is Proto Man just stole all of Mega Man's upgrades just one night. Just, snuck in and, was like, shh.
When Mega Man was passed out off of that Wily beer.
Yeah, exactly. He's been drinking, he had a few too many E-tanks, and he's curled up in the corner of his stasis tube, and, Proto Man just, pocketed everything that was
Eddie,
on the table.
Why did you give me so many energy cans? Oh, God.
Exactly.
Oh.
Now I'm getting this mental image of a gif of, Eddie shooting energy cans out of his head at Mega Man. But, so anyway, so Proto Man comes in the chute with the ability to charge his weapon and the ability to slide, which instantly would make him, and his little shield too, which is nice, which instantly would make him, favorable over Mega Man, except for the fact that he takes, ridiculously increased damage from everything. So basically playing as
Doesn't he
Proto
take,
Man,
minimum of double?
I believe so, yeah. So you basically,
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, the trade-off is basically, if you can dodge, then Proto Man is right up your alley, because, if you know patterns and you know how to, watch for bullets and watch for, enemies that jump out of the ground and gore you, but, if you're just kind of fumbling through it and you don't know the patterns, no, Proto Man is after you've beaten the game as Mega Man a couple of times and you're ready for that.
Yeah.
That natural step
that's what
up.
it seems like.
Yeah, you don't pick unless you're just a sadist, or unless you're just really good at Mega Man games. You don't grab Proto Man right off the bat, and then new to the fray is new and deproved 8-bit bass, who's wait for it, DLC.
Yeah.
If you get Bass's big thing is he has the rapid fire buster that can shoot in one of 8 directions. And I believe he's got the treble boost as well. Downfall with Bass is he doesn't have his double jump, which...
Wait, 8? He actually shoots straight down now?
He might not shoot straight down. It might just be
7.
left, right, Yeah, it might just
left,
be 7
right,
directions.
up, left, up, right, up, down, left, down, right.
Yeah, because Dr. Light doesn't know how to make a robot that can shoot up. But okay, maybe he can't shoot in 8 directions. I don't know. Bass has been a bare minimum thing for me because I'm sick of Mega Man 10 already. But basically,
that's fair.
He can shoot in multiple directions. Let's go with that. And he's got the treble boost. And just overall,
so is the only thing that he's missing his double jump?
I believe so. Yeah. So
okay. Well, even then, that's not as bad as what happened to Mega Man.
No, that is true, and it is kind of cool that depending on which of the characters you take, the shopping experience is different for you.
Yeah, I have heard that.
I think Proto Man gets the best deal in all of that. It's real thin disguise there, Otto. But nonetheless, you basically, depending on who you take, the gameplay is going to be a little bit different, but it doesn't really, change a whole lot of the game. The first thing I want to note about Mega Man 10 is after Mega Man 9's impressive and just really, honestly, really cool Robot Master designs, especially, oh my god, especially Ariga's artistic interpretations of them looks.
Oh,
I
they're
think
so good.
they look really good, and you go, wow, these look like they could be Robot Masters from like Mega Man 2 or 3, like from.
And see, I'll be honest, I wasn't that impressed with the Robot Master designs. Like they were fine. They were far better than what I was expecting originally, but it was still just kind of like more of the same, you know?
Yeah, and then
then you compare that side by side with Ariga's re-renders of them, and it's like, oh my god, okay, that kicks ass.
Yeah, I know, and it's like they looked like they fit right in, and they didn't look like they were XBs of the previous Robot Masters. Like,
Yeah.
throw a fresh coat of paint on Guts Man, and oh, it's Concrete Man now. You know, they actually
Yeah,
look like
I mean,
they're-
you can see there are similarities, granted, you kind of expect that, but I think Concrete Man still manages to stand apart as his own Robot Master, which is really all I wanted.
And I will give Inti a little bit of a nod. I'm actually one of those people that did like the fact that Leviathan and Harpuia and Fefner were kind of like regenerated in the forms of Splash and Tornado and Magma. I thought that was kind of neat because I've always liked X's Guardians as characters. So
Yeah.
Kinda,
So that
sorta-
was kind of like a nice, fun little internal nod, you know?
yeah, it was a little continuity nod, like, you know, if you liked this, then hey, look, guys, they're over here, but not really. Oh, that's clever. You know,
Yeah.
that's neat. You
No,
know, good-
like
good
that.
job.
I think that was partially like done internally as like, "Hey guys, this is fun," and partially as like, "Hey fans, this is fun." So
And-
whatever, that was fine.
I do, unless I am wrong, I do believe Splash Woman was designed by Inafune himself as a guide.
That's what he says.
Yeah, I believe Inafune designed Splash Woman and Plug Man as sort of like a design guide for the other 6 to be made off of them, so that they basically could get a feel for what the universe was going to feel like. Because you're coming off of Mega Man 8, and when you compare the
Well, and then take it a step further and take Inti Creates into consideration. They're coming off of Mega Man ZX.
yeah, so they kind of needed a jump start there a little bit to kind of get back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
And so, you know, but I mean, it's like overall the Robot Master designs for Mega Man 9 are pretty good to begin with. Ariga's re-renders of them are just gorgeous, and they really look and feel like they belong, like they firmly belong in the Mega Man universe. And that's one of the things that I'm willing to forgive Mega Man 9 for, is it had a lot of things about it that I thought were bad, but it had a lot of things about it that I thought were good. This was one of those things where, you know, to me, 50% of any Mega Man game is the Robot Masters, their stages, their presentation, because that's where you spend the majority of your time in a Mega Man game.
Yeah.
So they should be eye candy, basically. And I like the character designs.
The game. Yeah, we've said this before, but the game is almost more about the rogues gallery than it is about any of the heroes.
Exactly. Well, Mega Man is so generic. I mean, there's nothing really special about him, and you know, he doesn't have any real, you know, like noteworthy powers or anything. And let's face it, I mean, it's, you know, he's not like Batman where he's got, you know, like his own list of things he can do that makes him special. You know, and so the Mega Man Rogues Gallery it's a wide and varied and colorful base, and yet they all manage to fit that mold too. Like you can see where, you know, they try to be unique, but they also fit the pattern too. And
Yeah.
Mega Man 10 comes out, and no joke, seriously, have you looked at the Robot Master designs for Mega Man 10?
Oh my god, they're terrible.
I look and
I hate them. I hate them so much.
Why did you guys have to design 6 Robot Masters that have the airman face with
Yeah, I know,
know,
right?
eyes and no mouth? Really? You had to do that with 6 of them? I think the record was like 4 at one point in time, and I want to say that was Mega Man 7, if I remember right, which has
Let me think about that.
Cloud, Burst, Spring, and Freeze, and I guess technically Turbo. So yeah, it's got 5. I think was that was the record there, And now, you turn around, it's like, I mean, 6? Really? You had to draw 6 faceless Robot Masters? Oh my gosh, their designs are absolutely, like a couple of them I will give credit where credit's due. I like Blade Man a lot. I think Blade Man looks pretty cool.
Well, he definitely looks better than the fan submission he was shamelessly taken from.
Which one?
Oh
There's
no,
been,
that specific
a million
one.
Blade Man.
No, specifically there was a fan submission where it was just like a Robot Master with like a normal Robot Master face, purple, with one katana like sticking out of his head, kind of like where Shadow Man's shuriken would be normally, and then 2 other like full length blades sticking out of the spots on his arms where his hands should be. I mean, and plus he had like, if I remember right, he even had like sharp, sort of detailed feet. It was. Yeah, it was pretty obvious.
Yeah, I think it was even on Protodude's blog.
No, yeah, that is definitely where I saw it. They kind of tried to pin Solar Man on another submission, but
that felt a little more shoehorned. But Blade Man was pretty blatant. And,
definitely, obviously.
And I feel like the design for the Robot Masters in 10 just felt kind of lazy and rushed. I mean...
Yeah, it honestly felt like, well, the last one was so great. You guys want more great? Okay, well, we kind of need some extra money, so this works out well for us.
Yeah.
And here you go. More Mega Man. As long as there's stuff for you to jump around and not get hit by, but get hit by, and things to shoot your shooty gun arm gun at, I mean, you're going to buy it, right? Okay, here you go. I felt so, just like, I haven't played it, so I don't have that, but just everything that I have seen of Mega Man 10 has just really just struck me the complete wrong, opposite way, and I just feel cheated, and I haven't even bought it.
Same taste, same look. Don't you mean same great taste, new look? Nope! Okay.
I'm sorry, did we stutter?
Exactly. It's like, and the Robot Master designs are just really boring, and, I mean, this is the first set of Robot Masters I'd actually go as far as to say I don't like the way they look. And
perfectly fair.
This is, and I will admit, I know I sound like I'm harping on it, but the Robot Masters are my favorite part of Mega Man, so that's a big loss
me too.
for me. That's a big loss
I do
for
like
me.
the hero characters, but really, the thing that is new and unique and exciting about each game is the friggin' Robot Masters. We've said it before, we'll say it again. They are essentially the lifeblood that makes the classic Mega Man games what they are.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, all right, who are we fighting this week? I mean, that's kind of what I feel, and they don't have that throwaway monster of the week, quality to them. I mean, like, once you beat a Robot Master, it's kind of almost like, it's like, I know I'm going to be, especially when you're going to be seeing them again and again and again. I mean, they're, they cameo constantly in other games, and even in hey, Mega Man 7 was a hotbed of Robot Master cameos.
Yeah, I really love the interconnectedness of the whole thing. It's like, it is Capcom inside tradition to do that with characters. And we love it, they love it, there's no... it's accepted. That is the Capcom universe de facto way that things work.
Exactly, and it's kind of, they're kind of there for you as familiarity. I mean, it's like bringing Cutman and Woodman back for Mega Man 8 was another really
for the
cool,
Saturn edition, yeah.
Yeah, that was another really cool touch. It's like, hey, it's these guys. I remember them. I feel at home seeing them. Like, new territory, new robots to fight, new world, new game system I'm on. Cutman and Woodman.
Here's a nod for you, at the same time.
Exactly.
There's all this new stuff, but boom, here you go. Nostalgia. Enjoy. Yeah, we recognize you. Whereas opposed to like what we have now with Mega Man 10, I just feel like it's like they're just relying on the aesthetics alone to be the throwback, and just trying to make you retroactively acknowledge, oh no, this is the way things are, as opposed to, hey, remember when this is the way things were?
I don't want to fight Sheep Man again. Once was enough, and I don't want to see him show up in another game again, and I feel terrible saying that, because it's like, I mean, give me about 5 more games like this for him to grow on me, but, it's...
I guess.
It's like, and while we're on that subject, I don't get his motif. I mean, it's a sheep.
It makes no sense.
It's a sheep, okay. It's a robot sheep, alright. He shoots thunderclouds. Okay, so...
Lol, what?
Technically now he's more Cloud Man than Sheep Man, and we already had one of those 3 games ago. But okay,
exactly.
Right. I can go off of this. Alright. And he's in like a computer, like an operating system stage with pointers.
Oh, that's his stage?
Pop-up game. Yeah, that's his stage.
See, guys, you can tell that I haven't even played it.
Yeah, and you look at it going, okay, what is the motif I'm supposed to... And apparently it's the, the dreaming of electric sheep, And it's like, oh, okay, that's the motif here. This is something that, unless you were familiar with the, the very...
H.G. Wells and the sci-fi of that time?
Yeah, unless you were familiar with, like, just the in-joke, basically... this kind of seems to me a lot...
The robot dream of the electrical sheepsmith? Oh my god!
It kind of feels like one of those... It's kind of like one of those times when they'll bring in a, like a reference to Japanese mythology or Japanese culture and something...
and it's either completely ignored or it's like, hey, no explanation. It's either no explanation or they try too hard to explain it,
Or they take option 3 and they woolsify it so much that they, Americanify it to a point that it's unrecognizable from, the original source material. It's basically like randomly throwing in a reference, like something along the lines of, like a spoiled princess with long black hair asking you to perform 5, near impossible tasks for her. It's something that, unless you were familiar with, The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter and, Princess Kaguya, that's something that would fly right over your head. And you just kind of
otherwise you would basically just accept that as like, oh wow, what a bitch. Okay, it's a game, so I'm going to do it, but whatever.
Yeah, this doesn't, and it's like, it's basically if you get the joke, then good for you. If you don't get the joke, it feels really weird and out of place. Like, you're fighting a sheep robot. I would have expected him to be on a farm or something, but no. He's in a computer network, which doesn't really make any sense. It's like, he's like the designated cyber peacock of this game, and you go, huh? Really? Not really sure. I get it, but okay.
Or snipe anteater, I guess, but even that was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, that was.
It's like,
just
this motif has been done and been done better. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, this is a little weird. And just like overall with Mega Man 10, the big feeling I got out of it was it felt even way more so than Mega Man 9. It felt rushed.
Yeah, perfectly fair.
It felt a little more polished, but a lot more rushed. It felt like like the gameplay was okay. One of the big things I did like about Mega Man 9 is the Robot Master weapons actually were all useful outside of just, you need the crash bombs to get rid of the walls in Wily's Fortress, and you'll never use them again.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, and like, granted, I haven't had first-hand experience, but that has been my complaint for a good majority of the games, where I will just go through the entire game buster dueling everything until it's time to bust out a weakness weapon or something that, like in the case of Mega Man 7,
"Lol's use face cracker, get through lava there."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even Mega Man 7, which I rag on a lot, the one thing I will give Mega Man 7 credit for is it had a lot of the weapon interaction with the game, and so you had that sort of, that early 90s thing of always feeling like you're discovering some Easter egg or something new because you're trying weapons on everything to see.
Well, it's kind of like that X1 feel.
Yeah, it takes you like an hour and a half to get through a stage because you're firing all of your weapons at anything that looks even remotely like it might do something.
Yeah.
And you just know in the back of your mind you're gonna miss something somewhere, and it kills you because you're like, oh man, there's it's like to this day I'm still finding out new stuff about Mega Man 7 that I didn't know before. And that's a cool thing. That's a cool touch that you go, hey, I like this. I like that you put this in this game. Kudos. Good job. That's quality to me. That's making a game more than a game to the point where it's almost meta. That's good.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to do.
And I really am, like, the one thing about Mega Man 9 that, like, I haven't beaten the game yet, but I'm sure that I eventually will. And the one thing that makes me excited to do that is you telling me, that each weapon actually, does a good job at carving out a name for itself. Which, like I said, has been my biggest problem with all the weapons to date.
When the worst weapon in the game is a weapon that makes... this is my opinion anyway, your mileage may vary. When the worst weapon in the game is a weapon that makes a concrete block for you to stand on, potentially saving you from deadly falls, that's saying something. That's saying a lot. I mean, there's no top spin
as opposed to being like a 4 or 5-way tie for worst weapon.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking at you, Mega Man 5.
Mega Man 9. Oh god, Mega Man... I think Mega Man 5 is one of the... and as much as I hate to say it, Mega Man 3 kind of deserves a brick thrown in its direction, too, for some
I mean, top spin aside, there are some pretty worthless weapons in there.
Well,
but I think we covered pretty much all of those in Episode 5, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And that's something that Mega Man 9 doesn't have to worry about, is...
And that's
all
good.
of its weapons are pretty balanced and pretty good, so that's one benefit. Mega Man 10, on the other hand, went right back to the old Mega Man formula of... Alright, guys, we gotta put some stupid weapons in this game. What are we gonna do? Alright, here's what we're gonna do. Okay. Sheepman's gonna get the Thunder Wool, alright? And what it does is it makes a cloud, that's gonna shoot out from your buster, and it's gonna, arc upwards, okay, and it's gonna shoot a little lightning bolt down. Alright, so what happens if you hit something with a cloud? Oh, it's not gonna do that much damage. Okay, so you basically have to float this cloud up, 4 or 5 blocks in front of you, and time
that almost
it so
seems
that the lightning
more awkward
strike...
than even the remote mine.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't aim this thing.
God.
It arcs up and slowly floats up and then zaps down with a very fast lightning bolt. And of course, the Robot Master that's weak to it is Pump Man, and he jumps around a lot. So it's a lot of times.
Oh wow, that's great. I mean, sure, it makes sense, but damn.
You'll float the cloud up, and he'll a lot of times just jump into the path of the cloud, and it'll graze him. So it won't do that much damage. You have to hit him with the lightning bolt proper, and it's really.
That's that's like in the X games. If the weakness weapon was basically you had to charge it up first. That sucks.
It's exactly, and a lot of it just kind of feels like, okay, I got to the point with the Pump Man fight where I was just turning around and throwing the Thunder Wool in a random location, hoping that he would jump into its path.
Well, when it operates like that, how the hell else are you supposed to do it?
Exactly, and it's not, and you don't get that many shots of it either. So if you miss a few times, and you will miss. You typically end up having to Buster Duel him to finish him anyway, so what's the point? And
whatever.
A lot of the weapons are like that in this game. I mean, basically when it comes down to, you have your 2 or 3 that you rely on, and then the rest are just kind of in my inventory, alright, I'll pull it out when I run out of ammo for one of the screen clearers. It's
okay.
Yeah, that's basically how you feel with it. It's pathetic when and Mega Man 9 did this, but Mega Man 9 did it properly. It's pathetic when the best weapon in Mega Man 10 is the shield weapon. The generic...
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
I really... You remember the junk shield from Mega Man 7?
Okay, you know what? That was a legitimately good shield weapon.
This is basically a dumbed-down 8-bit version of that that's about
what?
a third as useful. it makes like 8 little water orbs that circle you, and so it's kind of got like the multi-hitter kind of effect tacked onto it.
Right.
And it basically does really weak damage, but it's probably the best weapon you have in the game. Mega Man 9, the Jewel Satellite, was phenomenal because any attack that basically it reflected projectiles and stuff, which was really cool.
I would like to note once again that I freaking called that. I called it.
Yeah, you did. And not only that, the really cool thing about the Jewel Satellite was if it's an enemy that it can kill in one hit, it doesn't go away. So
yeah, that's rad.
You can stand under one of those little dispensers that spits out the spinning soda can enemies.
I love those stupid things.
Oh, those are great. I think
they're so
called
great for
tellies.
farming.
I think they're called tellies, is what they're called. You can stand underneath them. There's one where they'll come straight down onto your head in Plugman stage, and it's right next to another one. So there's two that'll just like dump onto your head. I just stand underneath it and leave my gamepad there for like an hour and a half, and I'll go eat dinner or something and come back and have, max lives, full energy, and like a ton of bolts to go spend in the shop later.
That's awesome.
So that's an example of a shield weapon done right, but Mega Man 10 doesn't quite meet that quota. So overall, just the thing about Mega Man 10 is, the plot is just goofy to a point where it's not as serious.
Well, at the same time, I would say that, like, I haven't seen it really in action, but I really kind of prefer the. Oh, wait a minute. No, never mind. I'm thinking about Mega Man 9. Oh, Dr. Light's an evil bastard. Hey, guys, give me money so that I can make Robot Masters to fight against him. No, that was like. Just that aspect of the plot, despite the whole, robots have an expiration date. Like, that aspect I thought was funny and right in line with, like, Wily's other retard-mo plots, but...
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Now I remember what Mega Man 10 was about, and I agree with you, but go ahead.
Mega Man 10's plot is just pointless. I mean, all the robots in the world, now have, Robo-Enza. So they're all Mavericks now? What? And, you have to go and get the vaccine for them. But Dr. Wily's going to help you make the vaccine. What?
Yeah, this works well.
This is the best part of this game. It's like, okay, Dr. Wily can't figure out a cure for Robo-Enza, but he built a machine that can. That's like, I mean, this makes me want to get up and be like, well, I don't know how to, I don't know how to cure cancer, but I'm going to build a robot that's smart enough that can. What?
Yeah.
What? How?
I love the circular logic here.
It's like I'm reminded of, this seems like an AOSTH Robotnik plot. Like, I'm going to ship in crates of smartness. And he's like dumping encyclopedias into a blender. It's like,
Oh,
okay,
it's so good.
your identical twin duplicate. I mean, that's basically.
And then Mega Man said, Dr. Wily, you are the demons.
And then Dr. Wily was zombie. But that's basically how I feel with Mega Man 10. It's like, I can't, cure Robo-Enza, but I can make a machine that can. Isn't that the same
Didn't they,
thing?
like, retroactively tie that into the X series, too?
Yeah, exactly. It's like Dr. Doppler
Dear
shows
God.
up.
I'm sorry, we know where that came from.
Dr. Doppler shows up and he's waving, and Wily's like, get over it. I already did that years ago. Doppler's like, aw. But, and then he goes back to host, The Price is Right Reploid Celebrity Edition. Overall, I mean, Mega Man 10 is rushed, it's flimsy, it has a really stupid plot and an equally stupid ending that, I mean, I will fully admit I'm used to getting a, congratulations, you are completed and have great game, now go and rest our zombie heroes.
This story is happy end.
Yes, a WinRAR is you. I'm used to that. Okay, I'm fine with that, but please don't insult my intelligence, Inti, by doing this for a Mega Man game when I've seen the way you guys can weave BS plots. You do not need to do that for classic Mega Man. And it felt like they dumbed
I love that
it
I have
down.
no idea what you're talking about.
They dumbed it down to a point where basically the end of Mega Man 10 is, alright, you've beaten all of, Wily's robots. Wily catches the flu somehow and has to go to a hospital. And he escapes from the hospital and leaves behind the cure for Robo-Enza with him. That's like, okay, whatever. So it's basically, Wily's not this heartless monster after all. It's like, okay, he'll be back next week, everybody.
That almost seems like a page out of Mandy's book.
Kind of did feel a little bit like that, yeah. Like, Wily's up to, oh, Wily, he's just pulling pranks on us. That silly Dr. Wily, let's stand around and laugh with Rush and the mayor of Townsville. And you're sitting there going, really?
No, I mean, like, specifically, Book 9, I think it was, where, like, Wily and Mega Man were stranded in some place together, and, like, at the very end of it, it's like, oh, we got back to civilization. That means that means our alliance is over, and there's nothing stopping me from bringing you in, right, Wily? And Wily's like, well, maybe if I this and that, and Mega Man just laughs, and he's like, you know what, whatever, see you later. And then Wily's like, you know what, Mega Man? I hid something inside you that is probably bad for you, so I'm going to tell you where it is and how to take it out. Because, we helped each other out, whatever.
Yeah, it kind of felt a little bit that way. Like, like almost like this honor among mad scientists thing. And
yeah, and I wouldn't even go so far to say that that's necessarily a cheesy way to do it, but it's something that I could expect from Wily. Like, sure, he's a right bastard, but he's still human at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's not like we're looking at it from it's not like we're looking at it from the perspective of no, it needs to be serious for adults. It can't be for kids. It is a kids game, so I'm fine with that. But at the same and it's a nice break from the crap sack world I'm used to with the Zero series. So, hey, that's okay. I'm fine with it, but it is a little bit trite. It's like, I can't, whatever, Wily has no credibility as a villain anymore. I mean, the inhabitants of the classic Mega Man universe must be complete retards to, to take anything this guy says at face value. I mean, even Dr. Light is a complete idiot, and...
Well, we're used to that by this point.
Yeah, exactly, Hey, Mega Man, I have great news. Remember Dr. Wily, who's already tried to take over the world twice now? Yes, Dr. Light? Well, he's my lab assistant again. Says he's sorry, and, never really intended to do any of those things. That's great news, Dr. Light! Yes, we're going to go build a super weapon now. Alright, see you later!
I love the way you're able to summarize these this way. You're so good at it.
Thank you. But, I mean, seriously, it's like Mega Man abridged, I feel like. Okay, basically, Dr. Wily's evil. Wait, now he's not. He's okay. No, wait, he's evil again. It's like...
Oh, dear God, I was twicked again.
You need to pull up Dr. Light's almanac to determine what the Wily excuse will be for, this game. Flip to a new page on the calendar. Oh, it's today's excuse is sunspots, It's like, oh, Dr. Light, I'm sorry I was evil. It was sunspots that made me crazy. Well, oh, Dr. Wily, always forgiven. Now let's go build a super weapon.
Nothing gets them back together than building a weapon of mass destruction together.
Exactly. It's like, remember all those great times we had jumping bridges in the General Wii, Dr. Wily? Yes, good times, Dr. Light. Seriously, you're a complete moron. And that's
yes,
how
well, that's true. Ha ha ha. Let's build a super weapon.
Exactly, yes. I think that's going to be our new sign-off phrase.
Well, it's been a very good couple of years that we've been doing this. Let's build a super weapon.
Exactly. I mean, what part of supersizing
Be very, very quiet. I'm building a super weapon.
what part of supersizing Gutsman looked like a good idea on paper? And if we take out the morality core, we can install 17 more nuclear missiles, Dr. Wily. Oh man! And so I'm kind of used to this by now from the classic Mega Man games, but admittedly, Mega Man 10 does kind of take it a little far, and it's almost like, I'm gonna have to steal a line I heard somebody use recently, but it's almost borderline, All right, Shaggy, you take Scooby and go outside and investigate. I'm gonna take the girls to the bedroom and go look for clues. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna just turn this off and go play something that doesn't insult my intelligence.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, going off of one into Create's creation to a multitude of others, here we go. Mega Man Zero Collection came out recently, and I have not yet had the opportunity to pick this up for myself. So, yeah.
Alright, so I take it the baton's in my hands then.
Well, yeah. Unfortunately.
Okay, I bought Mega Man Zero Collection about a week or week and a half after it came out, and overall, it's pretty much what we expected the port of the classic Mega Man Game Boy games to be, Mega Man Mania or whatever it was called. It's basically like the same, just kind of same general concept from what you would expect a game collection to be. Admittedly, it does have like a continuous play easy mode, which basically staples all four of the games together, basically cutting out the title screens, and pretty much as soon as you beat one, it only uses one save file, so it just kind of connects them all together one after another in a continuous run. So if you want to play them on their original difficulty levels, then you can play them separately from the library of games, or you can start from Mega Man 0 and play all the way through to 0-4. If you play it on the easy mode, basically the easy mode is you have unlimited lives, and all of the cyber elves are unlocked and applied to your total from the onset. And so basically, you don't have to worry about using any of the cyber elves and feeling guilt over it because they've already been used for.
Oh, they don't treat you like an asshat for it?
No. I think it affects your ranking a little bit. Like, I haven't been able, no matter how flawlessly I've done on any mission, I haven't been able to come in over B. But if you're not concerned about your, just arbitrary little ranking that they give you at the end and your code name,
right?
Then it's basically who cares. They don't make you out to be this villain for using the elves though. So because it's already been done for you, there's nothing really you have no control over it. So basically, it's like playing one of the Mega Man X games if you had unlimited lives and all of the sub tanks, heart tanks, and that sort of stuff was already unlocked for you. So all you had to actually get was the master weapons, basically.
Right.
And so far I've beaten Mega Man 0 on it, and now I'm running through Mega Man 0 2. 0-1 is a lot shorter than I remember it being. But it's been so long since I played 0-1, it might just be me, but I guess not having to go out of your way to collect everything, you can kind of just motor through the plot, and I mean, I had that beaten in, the span of a few hours, really. The collect the bombs mission still pisses me off greatly, though. That was, oh gosh.
I don't even remember that.
It's the first mission in which Phantom shows up in. and basically it's a factory that you had to go and occupy. You then have to go back and protect it from a bomb threat. And Shell sends you down there and says, "All right, go in and and disarm all these bombs." And then you go in and she's like, "You know what? Wait, no, don't do it. Leave." So you're like, "Okay." You turn to leave, and she's like, "Oh, you decided to do it? Oh, well, in that case, I'll help you then." And you're like, "Okay." So you go in and find that there are bombs that are hidden all over this factory. There's like 8 of them, I think, that you have to get. And they give you like this 3-minute timer on which to get them. And honestly, just basically imagine having to haul ass through a 0 stage and collect things that have been hidden. And I think that speaks for itself right there. But
yeah, with a 3-minute timer, that's no.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's hard even on easy mode. It's still greatly irritating. Basically, you just run into all the enemies and try to keep that invincibility flashing as long as you can, so that you can just grab all the stupid bombs, and then after you get out of there, it's okay. So I do believe you get to fight. You get to fight Phantom first, which is kind of weird because they put the boss fight before the stage. So you actually have this feeling that, all I got to do is just go fight this boss, and then I can leave. No, then you got to do the stage afterwards. So that's kind
Is that the one where he's like on train cars or something?
I can't remember because, to be honest with you, it's a 0 game, and there's a lot of trains in 0 games. This is one where you're standing
Okay.
You're standing outside a factory, and he's basically doing his standard, Shadow Man-EXE impression, where he's blipping in and out and, making clones of himself and throwing shuriken at you and everything. And, it's Phantom, so, I like Phantom. It's okay,
Yeah.
but, it's kind of it's not really memorable because you're spending most of your time just trying to get all the stupid bombs out of the factory, and so it's this it's a timed mission. I hate timed missions, and it's a perfect example of why timed missions are bad in Mega Man games. Overall, though, Mega Man Zero Collection, there's really not a whole lot about it to say other than if you've always wanted to play the Mega Man Zero games, but like me, you find them to be absolutely brutally difficult, and you don't like having blisters after, playing a video game and feeling like you've had your head knocked off your shoulders, then it's basically the same thing with Mega Man 10. It's another Inti Creates game with an easy mode on it. This one's a little more mocking because honestly, like, the easy modes are just hilarious. I mean, I didn't even begin to have a problem with the final boss of 01, and I just stood underneath it and shot it from underneath, and never even was a problem. I never even needed to use a sub tank, and it gives you 4 full sub tanks, and you take reduced damage from everything, and it's just like yeah, okay. So, basically, the thing that holds you back in the Zero games using the Cyber Elves, since that is already taken care of from day one for you, you're at that point you're like, okay, well, whatever then, and you can just you can enjoy the games, I think how they were intended to be played, and
Did the inclusion of the Kaizo cards really do a whole lot to change up the experience?
To be honest, since I've only just played 01, the Kaizo system hasn't even shown up for me because there wasn't...
Oh, right, 3 and 4.
Yeah, so that won't show up until I get to those specific games, but, overall, like, it's worth it, it's fun, it's enjoyable, for what you're going to pay for it, it's a lot cheaper than buying the individual Mega Man Zero games, and I'd actually say I'd really like to see an EXE collection done in this same style for the DS. The one problem I do have with the Zero collection is not the fault of the game, but rather my system. I'm using the DSi XL right now, which for games like Pokemon is great, where it doesn't require a whole lot of you can basically set the thing in your lap and kind of poke at it, so it's not that big of a deal. But for an action game, the DSi XL is a little too big and a little too bulky to to play a game like Mega Man Zero with for any extended length of time without your hands cramping up, because it's a fairly heavy system. It's like, imagine trying to play the Mega Man Zero games on something like the Game Gear, and that's basically what it feels like.
Okay.
But so for that, I just bust out my regular, DS Lite and just, play on that. But overall, it's a really good collection. It's a good port, I'd say, for the 30 or so bucks you're going to spend on it. It's worth snagging. Like, I wouldn't even wait for this thing to go into the bargain bin. It's worth snagging now because it's way cheaper than buying the 4 games individually, and the buffs and the benefits are fun. So if you've always wanted to play the Zero Series games, but they're too hard for you, and you don't want to cheat, you want to play them, but you want them on an easy mode, this is the perfect collection. That said, I'm still not a big fan of the Zero Series. I'm still not hardcore into it. It's basically, I'll go back to what we said way back when, in Worst Mega Man Games Ever. I love the music, I love the art style, I love the character design, I hate the plot, I hate the I hate the difficulty of the games. So this is basically a way to enjoy the aesthetics, kind of have your cake and eat it too. If you want a way to enjoy Zero, this is the way to do it.
Next up, number 5 on our list. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight.
We need to put crickets chirping there.
And just have that be the segue music.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Next one. I actually think you're going to have more to say about this than I will.
Maybe.
Let's have the full gamut of break speculation, please.
Oh, God. And, yeah, and the biggest problem with number 5 on the list is that it's another run through the speculation machine. We know nothing about Rockman Online, other than the fact that it's apparently based on the X series and that it's going to be an MMO somehow. I don't know how they're going to pull this off, really. I mean,
when all you have to go off of is a poster and some very cryptic, side comments from our friends on the other side of the other side of the other side of the pond, then, what do we say about Rockman Online?
Honestly, not a whole lot, other than it apparently it's going into closed beta soon, which I don't care a whole lot about. I think if I was ever to put any amount of time into Rockman Online, it would be after all of the bugs were glitched out, because I have a natural dislike for massively multiplayer online games.
Oh boy.
They're not my thing. I'm sorry.
This is a recurring
I
debate
don't like them.
with our inner eye laser beams clique. One that I think we're pretty much perfectly divided down the middle about too. Break and I are we're from the old guard of video gaming, and our idea of a really good game you can sink your teeth into is one that can keep you immersed for a while, but has an end in sight, and one that you can look at. I mean, replay value is one thing, enforced replay value is another. Enforced replay value that you have to constantly be shelling out of pocket for is not...
Plus one that demands you to play it every single day whether or not you want to.
Yeah. Anytime a game stops feeling like a game and starts feeling like a chore is a good cue for you to get out. And
that's honestly part of why I just do not like MMOs.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that we have this as much time as we do to record podcasts, which is to say next to none.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the time to invest into an MMO, first of all. And second of all, I don't want to have to deal with the kind of people that are hardcore about MMOs. Just those two things combined just really make me not even care about that entire world of gaming.
And because we don't live in a box, we've been outside of the sandbox. We've stepped out and we've seen the pretty graphics and shiny is not enough to hold us. It's not enough to hold us for a game, for a series. Just because it looks cool isn't a good enough justification to spend money on it. I mean, if I bought everything I saw that looked cool, I wouldn't have any money to eat with, and it gets to a point where you can't just because it's like, oh, it's got lasers and shiny bells and whistles, and you can customize a dude and make him look cool. You can spend hours doing the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over again, farming and solving puzzles and going on raids with other people for hours and hours and hours at a time just to meet in failure because somebody stole your loot at the end of the raid. Yeah, that sounds great. Sign me up. I want a game that's more monotonous than real life.
And that's why I can't understand how they're going to be able to make the X series work its way into an MMO. Like, I don't know if it's just going to be the same kind of thing that we're used to seeing thus far. Like, putting aside just World of Warcraft by itself, I mean, I will never have a desire to play World of Warcraft, disclaimer over. Ever. How is the X series, which has been, except for one outing, it is a majorly action platforming oriented series. I mean, how are they going to get this to work in an MMO type setting? Is it basically just going to be like, I don't even know. I really don't know.
And that's one of the things that, it's like, I mean, I would sooner see another command mission because, command mission has its share of flaws. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but I thought it had a good plot. I thought it had phenomenal music. I thought it had actually a really fun combat system. It was a no-frills RPG that you could sit down, play for about a week or so, really feel like you got your money out of it, even if it wasn't quite to your liking, even if it wasn't quite to canon standards. The voice acting was good, the presentation out the door was overall solid. I mean, from a technical display, there's really nothing you can fault Command Mission for aside from just not caring for the aesthetic or not caring for the delivery. But by no means was it a slap in the face to the X series. It was an RPG to be sure, but it felt like a good outing for Mega Man. And to be honest, I really feel like if any Mega Man series can adapt itself into an RPG setting like that in the traditional RPG style rather than the hybrid games that the EXE games are, and that you carry around a party of 7 people and actually, you actually level them up, etc. I really felt like the X series lent itself best to that because you got to play basically as other Maverick hunters, and you kind of amassed sort of this team, and you were united towards a cause. That's totally cool. I was totally fine with that. I'm not really seeing how Mega Man is going to adapt to a MMO apart from basically being everybody's a recolor running around and
Yeah, really. I see it boiling down to yet another case of original the character, please do not steal.
Yeah, this scares me as much as the concept of a Sonic MMO, to be honest. Because it's a franchise that doesn't adapt well to this universe, and the only real thing that will make it advantageous is basically, hey, you can make your own furry, okay?
Ugh.
God
knows there's enough of that on the internet.
Cue the inevitable, millions of, Technicolor hedgehogs that all have the same, power draw, and, it's like, no thanks, I'll pass.
Can shoot energy blasts faster than Sonic from the future.
Yeah, exactly, This is my character's powers. He's faster than Sonic, stronger than Knuckles, can fly better than... Yeah, okay, you're an idiot. No offense, I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. And this is something that worries me about a Mega Man game, is what are we going to end up seeing out of a Mega Man MMO? Will it be enough to get Break and I to swear off our moratorium on the genre? Well, if it's good, maybe, but...
Yeah, this seriously would have to... Like, MMO, the MMO, would basically have to be... It would have to offer niceties in spades in order for me to get off of my duff and actually give a crap about MMOs as a genre, because I just quite frankly don't care. So it has got to be absolute, like, it has got to have some serious meat on its bones for me to even care enough to pick up a fork.
And I feel that way, really, I do. I mean, when you look at when you look at the Mega Man series, it doesn't look like something that would lend itself well to this kind of style anyway. That, I'm sitting here seriously wondering, especially X, because, like I said, X works in an RPG setting, but I don't think it works in an MMORPG setting. It seems...
I don't understand why they wouldn't just choose the obvious choice.
I would have said Legends, because I can see the whole, hunter concept working out for the, the diggers running around and, doing boring tasks like mining for crystals and actually fitting the game's,
Yeah, that could make sense. That is definitely an aspect that could work well in that kind of setting.
Having the digger job classes, because they were basically, Mega Man is a special kind of digger, and when you look at the rest of them, for the most part, they're pretty normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Mega Man's big advantage, is his, his unique digging style. But I could have seen that working for, an MMO setting, is basically, creating your own custom, digger character and interacting with the other Mega Man characters in the universe. But them being side characters and your, original the character do not steal, being, your representation.
But because of the way that the Legends world is set up, it's perfectly viable. Because of the onset of, like, the way that the Dash universe is established, it's like, no, this is very much a big, wide-open world, and there's people in it besides you and the bad guys.
Right.
Because, like, you go to the X series, and it's like, okay, it's X, Zero, random characters, the navigators, and all of the bad guys.
Yeah.
Whereas the Legend series pretty much establishes from the get-go, okay, there's the junk shop owner, there's the bread store owner, there's the poor, hapless NPCs that are just being terrorized by the Bonds and whoever else they're teaming up with this week. It's a much more free-flowing, just, like, not set in concrete. No, it's better fleshed out, and it's a lot more flexible. So yeah, an MMO would have worked great in that aspect.
Right.
Even an action MMO, like, you could have done, like, Dash-style controls and just had a bunch of people and just had, like, really big, impressive underground bosses, and, like, a bunch of people could have just, like, it could have totally worked as, like, an action MMO,
Yeah, basically, everybody go out and out on this guy, and you stay in the back over here and make sure we all don't die. I would have, like I said, I think Legends would lend itself a lot more to the MMO universe. EXE as well. EXE would fit the whole. All right, you're a professional virus buster. Time to make your own net navi, jack in and hop too. That would have been perfectly fine as well. And
I think people would have eaten that up.
Absolutely.
That fan base is still big enough to absolutely justify it.
And I think even Star Force, loath as I am to admit it, might have lended well to this. But X doesn't seem like it fits to me. It almost seems like it. They wanted to make an X game, but they're kind of shoehorning it into an MMO.
Yeah,
style.
I don't really get it either.
And I'm just not feeling it.
But I guess it's really, again, one of those cases of, well, there's no specifics, we don't really know how it's going to go until we actually start getting reports back from the people that do get chosen as beta testers, I guess.
Yeah, just in general, just seems like a really wonky, kind of random sort of direction to run in, you know? And we'll see where
Yeah.
it goes. We'll wait for reports, and we'll wait for the final word. But you know, and this, of course, could turn out to be another Rock Band strategy, something that we just never see, period, over here. And then it's like, well, hey, you know, it's the same as what we said with Operate Shooting Star. All this speculation that went into this game that, you know, we were so convinced we were definitely going to see, and we were getting so excited about, and then bam, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So when you put it that way, it's like, okay, if we never see it, whatever. So it's not really worth getting in a huge uproar or, you know, to get uber excited about. But
yeah, this is basically our response to all the people that have asked us, hey, what do you think about this thing? Have you seen it? You know, because, you know, it's like, you know, they don't watch us, you know, refreshing Protodude's page constantly. So it's basically, until we have something to go off of, I think our reaction can pretty much be summed up as, cool, we'll wait to hear on it.
But until we actually get something beyond just random speculation and hopes and I want this, I want that, you want this, you want that, you're an asshole, you know, the kind of stuff that goes on to Protodudes.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to predict anything. We're not going to say this is what we want. It's just whatever it's going to be is what it's going to be, and when we find out what it's going to be, then we'll figure out whether or not we actually care.
Yeah, and until then, you know, we'll have the likes of Maverick Hunter Brock and Maverick Hunter Misty to keep us company.
What?
Break! Okay, so moving right along.
Oh, God, here's the big one. Number 6 on our list. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys can probably guess where we're going at this point, since we are getting caught up to current events. Yeah, so let's jab at Mega Man Universe with a meter stick.
Oh boy. Going out of one game we know nothing about, right into another game we know nothing about.
Well, we know that Captain Steroids is going to be in this game.
Hang on, let me see if I can capture the emotion that went into this the best. What the hell am I doing here?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's like they kidnapped some random construction worker and hit him over the head.
And put him inside this fluorescently gay bodysuit.
Yeah, with random, you know, bright yellow somethings spinning around in the background. Oh my gosh. That is pretty much... All we have to go off of this is a trailer that's jam-packed with more retro Capcom crap than should be humanly possible to
apparently
absorb.
It's a Mega Man game. Okay. And apparently it's called Mega Man in both America and in Japan. Okay.
This is disturbing.
I really don't know what to make of this.
COA, is this your doing? Are you doing this? Because it looks like this is something you guys are doing. I like Inafune's comment, too, and he's like, you know, no, I don't want them to dredge up that horrible Mega Man design. And that's probably Inafune's, you know, concept of what Mega Man is. I mean, and when you stop and think about it, rightfully so, since that was the, you know, that was the first we got to see of Mega Man. And
oh, God.
So that's probably why, you know, when he thinks about, you know, Mega Man as a Western concept, he probably thinks of that monstrously bad box art and goes, "Oh God, you know, what did I do to deserve this?" how America, how did you manage this one? And I feel that way. I mean, you've got this guy in his 40s with a strange weapon, like in the middle of, Palm Tree Casino Metropolis Paradise Zone, going, wow, really? What am I doing here? I'm completely lost. And surprise, he's going to be in Mega Man Universe, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, seriously, like, they keep giving us the vaguest of vagaries in order to actually describe this thing.
We basically know Mega Man is going to be in it. We know Mega Man is going to be in it. We know Ryu from Street Fighter is going to be in it, and God, who else is in the trailer?
Arthur.
Yes, from Ghost and Goblins, right? Which is another Capcom game I've never played. And
well, yes, you have. You played Mega Man 7.
Yes, that's right. I have, haven't I? But yeah, I'm kind of feeling that with this game. It's like I'm kind of almost expecting to see Little Big Mega Man as really.
Yeah, and that seems to be the thing that people are like tossing around, like, oh, well, because they're so freaking vague. It's like, oh, you can play through as your favorite Mega Man, play with lots of Mega Mens, and just like, okay, A, what's the genre? B, what's the genre?
And
like, what are we doing here? What do we have to look forward to? You're giving us nothing.
And in fairness, I mean, the way ZX throws around the title Mega Man like it's, like an honorary, candy handout, here, I'm the Mega Man of, blah, 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 and it's like, okay, so apparently everyone is a Mega Man now. That's really good and encouraging. I feel, yeah, okay, no. I don't. Yeah, it's like you said. What is the genre here? What are we even supposed to be looking for? And I love how people are already screaming cries of "ruined forever" with this. Like,
worst game ever. Crossovers don't belong with Mega Man.
I'm sorry, you people didn't seem to be panicking in the streets when they announced that he was in MVC.
Well,
okay.
Well, that's different. And that's why.
Surfbots and Dead Rising, can't believe they would do that to Legends. Ruined forever, oh my god. Gonna hate you guys for eternity now.
Yeah, no. And it's a little irritating.
And?
It's a little irritating, seeing... I mean, I will scream ruined forever as soon as I know what's being ruined forever. Until then... And at the same time, I'm not the kind of person either that praises video games I don't play. I mean, no offense, I'm not. It's not like I'm naming names or calling anybody out or anything. But if I'm not familiar with it, I don't feel the need to sing its praises and say, well, here's a list of reasons why this is the best video game ever. What? No, really? Seriously, guys, we're back to this again? I thought this died out years ago with the invention of common sense.
Really, I mean, how can we take any other stance on this except, we can't sing its praises because we don't know what the hell we're singing about.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid we start jumping up and down and getting all excited over what ends up being, Mega Man 10.5.
Yeah. I mean, we know absolutely nothing. I mean, it seems to me that the only logical, sane position to take is one of cautious optimism. I mean, like, okay, there's a new Mega Man game coming out.
And it's called Mega Man Universe. It sounds like
it may possibly be a crossover multiverse title.
And
awesome.
And Inafune is really, 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 really overexcited about it, like way more than a human should be.
Yeah. And I'm wondering if maybe this is the masterpiece that was teased ever so long ago. And if so, it better be pretty freaking phenomenal, because they are backing it like no other horse.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the way they're making it, and I like how something like Sonic 4 is, by comparison, a pretty low-key affair for Sega. I mean, they're sitting over there and they're like,
surprisingly.
They're like, Project Needle Mouse, guys, it's coming, Now speculate what it is. And everybody jumps up and down and starts speculating what it is. Sega gathers the votes, and then they're like, all right, guys, Sonic 4. Here you go, here's a trailer.
Ruin forever, no whoop-de-whoop legs.
Sega's like, seriously, you know what? Nothing pleases you guys, okay? Nothing will ever please
Fine.
you people.
Take Aliens, because you like those.
Yeah,
And they're multicolored.
we put
Take Sonic 3D Blast Adventure.
we put in a request and had it fulfilled to give, at the time, what you proclaimed was your favorite Sonic character his own game, Shadow. We give you this game, and you tell us it sucks. We're tired of listening to you. We're going to listen to the people that used to buy our games and, are telling us, hey, trying to do it Nuven style isn't working. Swing back. And this honestly goes back again to something else I said. Listen to previous ELB columns, guys, and you'll have heard this somewhere. I really think
Okay.
Capcom and Sega need to switch places and switch design ideas. I really do. I think Capcom needs to
Capcom needs to listen more to the fans, and Sega needs to listen less.
Yeah, I think Sega needs to stick with what's tried and true and works for Sonic, what we liked, what we know we liked. I wouldn't mind another couple of games that run on the Sonic 3 Knuckles engine, to be honest with you. I would get really excited about that, actually. And
Even that, if they even just went back to, like, the Adventure 1 and or 2 engines, I'd be fine with that.
yeah, I'd buy it as DLC. And Capcom needs to realize that, if it works, making it over and over and over and over and over again until it doesn't work anymore isn't the best way to go about things. Try new things with Mega Man. You remember all those games that we got really excited about, that were best of titles like Mega Man Legends and Legends 2? Yeah, we'd like to see you try something new with the Mega Man series. Even a new spin-off series would be ideal, because the last couple of spin-offs you've given us have just been dressing up the previous series and calling it something else. I mean,
But simultaneously, we still would like to see nods to the things that got us into it in the first place. I mean, sure, we'd like to see new stuff. That's great. But don't forsake...
I wouldn't...
Because, like, they haven't given anything really a specific end. Oh, like I'm talking about Classic X and Dash, mainly and foremost. Those aren't ended. Those have not been given an end. Please continue to give us those. But at the same time, we're not going to say no to anything new, like anything brand new, not just dressing something up in a new coat of paint and saying, here guys, new, really, old new, or new, old new. I mean, it's God, I'm upset now. I really am.
And in addition to that too, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing something like an EXE7 on, PSN and Xbox Live Arcade and WiiWare, as basically just running off the EXE6 shell with new battle chips, new bosses, and online play, in a game about the internet. I mean, God forbid we have a game about the internet be online play with,
I know, what kind of, like, dark magic are we working here?
Yeah, we had to wait until the radio waves before we could do this. Alright. Okay. Pretty much pretty much the next step is we're going to be playing Mega Man Chess by mail. I mean, I'm sorry, Capcom, but really, you've got a perfect opportunity here, and you're wasting it. Because you want to keep, producing these, these games that you're hailing as your opuses, like 9 and 10, and these are games that do not require effort from you. When, I mean, come on, you are recycling level layouts, and I have proof that you're doing this, and touting it as something new, and it doesn't work that way. I mean,
no.
Eventually, at some point, it starts feeling trite, and the sooner I think the sooner Capcom realizes that something new would be good, the better. I really do, and I'm hoping that Universe is that thing, but I can't get excited over what isn't there yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you get the... And again, it goes back to just the whole concept of the extremely fragmented and broken fan base. Oh, worst ever. Oh, they do something new, great. Oh, that's funny. It's a nod to
people that read Wikipedia and weren't actually there when it happened.
Yeah,
well, you get what I'm getting at there.
yeah, I love seeing the 10 and 11-year-olds jump up and down and scream about how they're old school gamers. It's like, really? Wow, yeah, old school. Like, yeah, you remember when Ruby and Sapphire?
Yeah, crawl
came
back
out.
in the womb and then tell me how great these games are.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, you're real old school. You remember when Ruby and Sapphire came out? It's like I remember what days before. CD-based video game systems were like. So,
Yeah.
I remember going and throwing my
I
money
remember
away
when
at
we
the
only
arcades.
had 152 and we liked it.
150.
And they weren't exchangeable.
150. There weren't even 152.
Two.
That's how hardcore we were.
And then we found out there were 152.
Well, yeah, okay.
But once we got number 152, we had no proof of it because our saves got erased.
You ain't catchable, you green bastard. But that's it's like
Who's
come on,
that
guys.
Pokemon?
Come on, guys.
It's
really.
missing no fuck.
And not to contradict previous ELBs. I even think the way Nintendo approaches Pokemon would be a much better way for Capcom to approach Mega Man, rather than feeling the need to put out 2 or 3 mediocre games a year. How about one really good game every 2 or 3 or 4 years that's an actual step up and a logical progression, where you guys have, look at developers like Valve. Yeah, they take forever and they don't operate on your timetable, but when they put out a game, it's a good one. Because they've spent time balancing it, and they've spent time playtesting it, as opposed to rushing shovelware out and just copying
As opposed to giving us X7.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to, slap a coat of paint on, this old block of wood and tell me, oh, it's a brand new and improved design. It's more, streamlined. And if you draw arrows on it and, give me a pie chart showing me reasons why it's better, then surely that must make it, make it so.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And when he, came out and, when Inafune came out and, just lauded the glories of this thing at Comic-Con this year, it's just I'm sorry. If you're going to give us Legends 3, give us Legends 3. But don't hint at it and be a complete jerk. Granted, that's not the word I wanted to say, but you get where I'm going here.
And to that end, once again, I come back to my previous point. Do we really want an Inta Creates made Mega Man Legends 3? And the answer to that, I think, is a resounding, oh, hell no.
Plus, you take into consideration the more recent interview where the man plays both sides of the fence, and it really pisses me off.
Inafune is a troll. What do you want from him?
Well, it's seriously like, yeah, I want to make Legends 3, but I don't want to make Legends 3 if people tell me not to make Legends 3, but I want to make it, so I hope the people like it. And it's like, dude, commit to it or don't.
When this is a question on every single interview for you, are you going to make Legends 3? Are you ever going to make Legends 3? Are you even at any point in your career before you die or retire, do you think you could probably squeeze in a Legends 3 for us, Inafune? Well, I don't know if I want to make a, game that, I want to make it, and I really want to make the Legends 3 game, but I don't want to commit to anything and then, have the fans back out halfway through. So basically what you're saying is it's our fault we don't have one yet? Because if that's what you're saying, you're an asshole.
God. Yeah, you're a complete... I'm going to censor myself here.
And I'm sorry, but you are. If that's really what you're telling us, Because at first, and his excuse changes. Like I said, it's like, they flipping to new calendar pages to see what the excuse du jour is. Before it's, well, I can't get the higher-ups to fund it. And now it's like, well,
Now I am the higher-ups, but I can't get clearance from God himself. I mean, come on. What's the excuse?
Really, it's like, hang on a second, I need to contact the Prime Minister of Japan, can I make a Legends 3? It's like, really? Seriously? I think, honestly, I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, and this almost unnerves me because I'm making a very, very, very frightening step onto a weak branch here. I think there's a Legends 3 that's actually in development now. I really do. And especially after that, sudden, rapid, hasty departure at Comic-Con, I really do think we're going to see one very soon. And I think at this point, Inafune is now slipping into the backpedaling phase because now that he knows we're hooked, it's, they gotta reel us in now and make it look like, this isn't, this never happened all along. I mean, that's my idea. I think there's a Legends 3. I think there's been one in production since Legends 2, and it's just been basically the underwhelming reaction since both of the Legends games were sleeper hits. But when you stop and consider that Mega Man 1 was a sleeper hit, I mean, it just seems to me like Capcom's coming up with excuses as to... I mean, they were obviously good enough to re-release as best ofs in both America and Japan. Good enough to re-release onto the PSP.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, seriously,
popular
guys,
enough to make a cell phone game for it that we'll never ever see.
Good enough to keep cameoing the characters in other Capcom games years after their series has been relevant. Good enough to practically make the poster child of the Mega Man series until EXE came along. Good enough to keep inserting, continuous references to and making merchandise of. Good enough to keep featuring as playable characters in crossover games, but not good enough for a sequel?
Not good enough for a trilogy ender? Give me a friggin' break.
At least, I mean, seriously, at least for crying out loud, pull him off of the damn planet and bring him back to Earth. I mean, really? Are we really going to end on a cliffhanger? And you hear us. I know you hear us talking about this series, which we have so much love for, and it's just like this, oh my gosh, it's like a breakup with a girlfriend we can't get over. Like, man, we were there, the chemistry was there, we were feeling it, we were in love, we were ready to get married and start a family, and she just, like, disappeared in the middle of the night. And, like, I feel like the love of my life has been kidnapped, and I'm getting daily blog posts and interviews from the kidnappers saying, well, I really want to release her for the ransom money, but, I don't
know if I would get enough ransom money.
And I don't want the people paying the reward to be, half-hearted about this. I mean, what if they back out halfway through? And, and it's just like, stop teasing us. Really? What did we do to you that you should treat us this way? Like we're... I mean, yeah, okay, our base is broken, but you know what? When the question that shows up at practically every interview with you, interviews about games like Dead Rising that don't even really have anything to do with Mega Man, and the question is, are we ever going to see a Legends 3? Well, I don't think there's enough interest in it. Uh-huh. Do you have to have... Okay, do we need to... Inafune, I'm going to just ask you this here. Do we need to pull an Ano on you? Do we need to start sending you letters in the mail and, like, standing outside of your house and waiting for you to come and go? And do we need to start, like calling you at work to get this game made? Really? Because... if you're going to be...
Don't tempt the internet.
Don't tell us, don't stand up and say that you want to make this game, but you don't think there's enough interest in it. Because I'm sorry, I I think Mega Man 9 and Mega Man 10 clearly prove you wrong. People will pay good money for bad games. Why won't they pay good money for a good game? Or am I
Again,
wrong?
it's that whole thing of, and Flash has said this multiple times, it's that whole thing of crap or get off the pot.
Yeah. This is failure to commit in action, ladies and gentlemen. And it's basically, please keep buying my experimental games while I'm hopped up on shrooms and, producing whatever comes to mind, Yeah, we'll have this game that's got claymation Megamins in it. It's going to be pretty good. We'll throw in other guys, from games that you may or may not have played, just whatever, How about we throw the ship in from 1942? Yeah, that's a playable character. There you go. Okay, yeah, seriously, no. I'm, like I said, crap or get off the pot. It's getting to the point where you're just being offensive now.
If you're not going to make it, then just say no. And if it turns out differently later, then surprise us and say, hey guys, guess what's coming out? But don't give us these half-veiled excuses at trying to please the quote-unquote hardcores. Just either commit or say, no, I can't make one, or I don't want to make one. Just don't lead us around by the nose with half promises and, half hints at something to just stop messing with us. That's really what I want to get down to. Just yes or no, make up your mind. Don't screw with us, Inafune. We've had enough of that. Please just... Okay,
Yeah,
it's great that Mega
it's
Man
been long
Universe is
enough.
coming out. Fine. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Mega Man Universe? Sure. I'll probably check it out. It's intriguing, but don't.
It's not what we want.
With
And
Legends
don't have-
3... Well, with Legends 3, just don't. Do it or don't. Just don't do what you're doing now. Because
get in or get out.
It
You're
is
getting-
insulting.
Yeah, you're getting to the point where it's basically, just whatever I feel like, I don't really think you want it bad enough. It's like, really? I don't sell things on eBay and then refuse to ship to the buyer saying, I don't think you want this item bad enough.
Yeah.
What? That's ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine going to McDonald's and saying, I'd like a Big Mac? No, I don't think you really want that. What?
I don't know if you want it as much as the guy behind you, so... Yeah, no.
Yeah. I don't want to commit to making this sandwich and then, you back out halfway through. It's not like Inafune has never made a bad Mega Man game before, So...
Yeah, never.
What's this? One more potential... And I don't understand what it is with Legends 3 specifically that seems to just frighten and scare Capcom. If it's the fact that they're afraid that, it's going to pull a Knight's Journey of Dreams, then, it's your own fault if you make a mediocre game, okay?
But for something that is so heavily requested, and, oh no, we can't justify, the resources to put behind this thing and back it, just, why not? Why the heck not?
Yeah, it's getting to the point now where it's no longer funny. It was never funny to begin with, but now it's getting rage-inducing at this point. It's like, all right, we're through the agony. Now we're hitting the point where we're getting incensed, and now you're just being offensive here. You're rubbing it in. Stop rubbing it in.
Don't troll us, dude.
And so, that having been said, we come back from our hiatus, and business as usual, I see.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Super fighting robot, Mega Man. Super fighting robot, Mega Man. Super fighting robot, Mega Man.
Well, it's great to be back after so long. Thanks for listening to another one of our rants. You'll have to forgive Break and I for, just kind of ranting and just sort of just getting all this off our chest because, even though even though we've been kind of out of it for a while, he and I still keep
Yeah.
in touch on a regular basis, and so this is still sort of like a recurring thing that goes on, and I guess we kind of forget sometimes that a lot of our, our phone conversations and whatever, obviously, you guys don't get to see this. You don't get the benefit of seeing us, sit down and, brainstorm about our ideas for Mega Man games, our thoughts on the matter, but we're still fans. We're still into it. We're still serious about it, but it's getting to a point where, we're ready to start seeing some change, or we're gonna lose interest in this series, fall out of it, and then at that point, it's
And then it just goes to the whole nostalgia filter thing. Like, yeah, I remember it when it was good,
yeah, back.
and that's
back before
dangerous.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, well, I think that brings us pretty much to the end of this this catch-up column. I mean, anything you'd like to
Yeah.
say, Break? Anything you feel the need to add?
No, I think we've been, well, I mean, granted, there's things in the Mega Man quote-unquote fandom universe that, we haven't addressed, but quite frankly, that's because we don't necessarily feel they need to be addressed. Like, oh, sure,
Right.
yeah, there were Kotobukiya figures, and, Wonderfest just happened, but it's like, yeah, figures, awesome, woo.
I like anime figures. I buy anime figures, but I don't think it's enough to write a podcast about.
Yeah, I mean, what are we going to say? Like, they look the good, or they
They look,
not look the good.
Yeah, this one looks good, so that makes it good. And it's like, okay. Now, yeah, but, just to touch on some random things. Okay, the Kotobukiya figures came out. Those are pretty. I like them. I like Roll a lot.
You like figures? Or did you not like them?
Apparently, Operate Shooting Star is getting a fan patch. Again, cool.
I guess.
Again, not really, newsworthy. If it was 4.5, I think that'd be a different song. But it's Operate
Yeah.
Shooting Star. It's not a new game. It's a port. It's a new game plus. Okay, not really worth getting all choked up over. So I mean, hey, okay.
No, I think we did a pretty good job at addressing the immediate news. Plus, of course, the jab at Inafune for being a complete jerk.
Yeah, seriously, dude, stop trolling us. It's not cool anymore.
Yeah,
It's not.
it's no.
Yeah,
Like, it's just a sick joke at this point.
it is. It is. Really.
This is the Mega Man equivalent of a dead baby joke.
It really is, yeah. It's like, I could make meta references here and I won't, but basically, this is like telling Miles Edgeworth, hey buddy, your daddy's still alive. It's like, really? You're really gonna do that? Wow. Okay. That's no. Mm-mm. And so I think that brings us to our. I think that brings us to basically a good spot to wrap up this this column.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I really want to thank you guys for tuning in after this, extended hiatus. But, we're unfortunately, I hate to say it personally, but we are grown-ups now, and we have to take care of grown-up things.
And
As
we
much as I
try.
would love to, live in Never Neverland and never ever grow up and just be able to have fun all the time, that is not how things work over here.
That said, Break and I are working on, scheduling ELB and making it a pretty solid thing, and tentatively...
Yeah, we're aiming for a monthly schedule, which I think is a lot more solid than we've had in the past. It's like in the past, it's been like whenever we feel like it. Hey, you want to do one? No, let's not do one. You want to do one? Yeah, sure. Okay, this is a good week. Whatever. So we're aiming for at least once a month.
And that having been said, I'd like to bring up, I actually want to throw the ball in your court. If you guys would like a topic covered, if you guys want to hear us talk about something, if you'd like a guest on ELB, we get emails, we get comments occasionally from people, and they're, I got an email the other day from somebody asking me, is ELB dead? Because I haven't seen much activity on that site. And I'm like, what, really? iLaserbeams.com? Somebody's got a column up like once a week, whether it's, me or Carta or Megamat, or there's pretty much new content. What are you talking about? And so, I hear this, and
It's
I hear
probably
people
just the
writing me,
podcast,
and they're like, stuff isn't happening, guys. And so, if you're that choked up over it, by all means, feel free to contribute. We're always happy to entertain the notion of guest speakers and,
guest speakers, or even if you just have an idea of something that you would like to hear us maybe talk about. That's great.
Yeah,
we encourage it, please.
Our doors are open, by all means. So, that said, I mean,
realistically, like we would love to update all the time, but it's just unfortunately beyond our abilities to juggle everything plus ELB. So making ELB EX, the audio columns, a once a month kind of thing is pretty much as far as we can go with that. But please, give us some input. We'd love it.
I mean, it's a great concession for us as it is to, dedicate one of our weekends to doing something like this. I mean, so we're trying. We really are. We're trying to make ELB a more regular thing. But have a little more patience with us. Understand that while Laser Beams is all about fun and games, life isn't, and we still have real people jobs in the real people world with real people, and we can't always be here, to be FlashMan and the Break guy. We still have to put on our game faces sometimes. So
yeah.
But when we're here, we love doing what we do. So please continue to support us, comment, keep visiting, and
we wouldn't do it if we didn't like doing it.
Yeah, keep distributing the tapes. But, I think that said, I mean, it's a great spot to end. So Break, would you do us the honors?
Sure, yeah. Thanks again, guys, for joining us on, I guess this is probably, episode 13, I think?
Something like that, yeah. Thanks for joining us on iLaser Beams number...
Yeah, exactly. No, really, guys, really. Granted, this is kind of a long one, but a lot happened, and it's been kind of a while, so I guess we're just making up for lost time, so to speak. But really, thank you so much for tuning in and just taking it in and just listening to what we have to say. It really means a lot to us. Thanks so much. And I guess that having been said, ding. This is BreakMan EXE signing out.
This is FlashMan EXE signing out.
Thanks again, guys.